Hello and welcome to the United Stand. We're live with the Manchester United versus Real Salt Lake watch-along. I'm up, I'm awake, and that's the most important thing. And I do actually feel better than I did in the LA Galaxy game. So big up to those who are with us. I know a lot of you will be not in a unsociable time, because it may well be a sociable time, and you're one of those people who gets up early anyway throughout the season. But if you are in the UK, Europe, and it is early hours of the morning and it is a Tuesday, big up to you. Get the coffee on, get some water down you. I've just had a bit of fruit and I feel good for it. So welcome to the United Stand, and let's crack on with it. I'm feeling all right. A few people are saying, oh, you're looking a bit tired. I'm not as deep as I was on LA Galaxy, and I'm looking forward to the team news coming in, which should be pretty much with us straight away. So let's have a quick look if it's up yet. We're up. I'm up, that's for sure. This is not a dream. I woke up an hour early as well. I mean, I had to watch Game of Thrones as well, so I cut back on my sleep. So it's probably going to hit me at some point tomorrow. But Nightmare TV says he's so tired, it's worth it. Julius Caesar's going to have a coffee, which I'm going to do in a minute. And Michael Foley's up in Ireland. Buddha needs a Red Bull. It's 2 AM and I'm dead, says Big Ben. And Jack Boy's just had a tea. Look, we'll look back on tonight, and we'll look back on these games in a few weeks' time when the season starts and say, yeah, I was there. It's something. It's a unique thing getting up for the tours, and let's just sit back and enjoy it. I think it's going to be good fun, and hopefully we'll get the Manchester United team news, which we just have. So the starting team for the first half is a little bit more mixed, which is encouraging. So we've got Pereira in goal. Wonder if he'll play De Gea or Romero. Might not play De Gea this time. So we've got Pereira in goal, Fosu Mensah, Lindelof, Phil Jones, and Daley Blind, because I believe we're playing a back four. Then we've got Michael Carrick and McTominay starting in the midfield. So that'll be interesting, with Paul Pogba and then Mkhitaryan, Lingard, Lukaku. So the exciting crew is probably coming in the second half, with Rashford, Andreas Pereira, Martial. Who else is not playing in that? Herrera. So yeah, it's more of a mix. It's more of a mix. Fellaini, if you like him, but there's more of a mix in that, I think, compared to the team that we had in the first half against LA Galaxy. There's more of a mix in that team, so not unhappy with it. And it certainly gives us I think against LA Galaxy, we certainly had a team where, you know, we knew the second half was going to be the exciting one because it had all the players that we want to watch. Whereas this team today is more of a mix. So I'm going to get this team up for you now. Fosu Mensah, he's a centre back. He's a right back. I don't know why I'm doing Australian. Lindelof, we've got both the new signings in the first half to watch. If somebody could just do as a little bit of a research like they did for the LA Galaxy game and find out if it's Real Salt Lake and mixing it up, or whether they're playing a first team and a reserve team, because I think that's always important. And it was really good to know that in the first half against LA Galaxy we're effectively playing their reserves. So if anybody knows anything about the MLS, which I'm sure some of you will, and you do get hold of the team for Real Salt Lake, let us know. I just nearly called Lukaku. Team's going up. The team's up on the pitch, on the table for you. On the table, yes. Lukaku starts up front, which is good. Okay, yes. So very, very happy. Morning, Mark. Hope we could win. Got to start work at 7. So Scott Kent. I'm going straight through Scott as well. I feel, to be honest with you, it killed me against LA Galaxy, and I suppose the more of them you do, as many of you lot do during the season, if you're in Asia and America, it's looking good. The weather's looking good in LA. I looked at it about half an hour ago, and some journalists who were over there, it looked really overcast, but it's looking okay at the moment. So, and they were actually watering the pitch, so they're obviously not too worried about rain. Kickoff will be delayed by a thunderstorm, says somebody. I'm not so sure about that. Blink Graphics says, I'm 99% sure we'll finally see Herrera as captains. Let's see how he does, which is interesting. Dylan Ladd is awake in Ireland. Salt Lake have a league game Thursday, so probably the second team, says Winston UK 84. And Michael Foley says Real Salt Lake are not bad tonight. And Danny Dobson says on the vodka and orange mark. I did think about having a drink myself, but I've stuck myself to sparkling water. And Jean-Marc Chaban says it's 4 AM in Lebanon, and I hope Lukaku scores. Well, I did say Lukaku will score his first goal for United tonight, and yes, I firmly stick by that. So that'll be a nice moment to see, because I do think he will score his first goals for Manchester United tonight. So let's see what happens. Cut back. Hopefully you can all hear me. On that, we've had a contribution from Schubert. He says, Mark, we were promised a surprise signing. Do you remember? I do remember, yeah. I also was told that we were going to sign Perisic yesterday. I think we're probably going to sign him today. I don't know what the latest is with that, but he's meant to be flying out with Inter to China, and we'll see if that actually happens. Mark, Salt Lake is playing 3 different teams with 30 minutes each. It's going to be very hard to track that, isn't it? Very hard to track. Yeah, we're going to see 3 different Real Salt Lake teams, which it just makes it very, very difficult on our part to understand how good the opposition is. So De Gea has been benched for today. A lot of rumours around him. If we did lose him, could you get over it? If Cruz came back, I don't want him to leave. Bound to happen. Yes, I suppose the rumours about De Gea may start up. But Romero didn't play at the weekend either, did he? So I don't think we need to read too much into that. And hopefully, I mean, I think the transfer window at the moment has been such a... I think if you were... I'll tell you what, let's do it. There's no point in predicting something. Let's actually do it. I'm just trying to hear about Real Salt Lake. Just listening about Real Salt Lake. Boring coverage. Anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, give us your mark out of 10 on what you think Manchester United's transfer window has been like so far, because I would personally... Well, let me get you lot commenting before I tell you what I would think. But my feeling is that if Manchester United were to give up De Gea, then a bit of a hint, I would put our transfer window down to a 2 out of 10 so far. Even though we've bought Lukaku and Lindelof, I think to lose De Gea now, late in the transfer window, would be a shambles. And in light of the fact that Real Madrid are going to sell Morata to AC Milan for 60 million, but they wouldn't take 70 from us, and then to give De Gea up would be just a farce. But looking at a lot of your comments, most people are saying 4 out of 10. Julian Deacon says 5 out of 10, halfway there. Sobin Insane says 3 out of 10, but there's a lot of 5 out of 10s. 1 or 2 6 out of 10s. I did see 1 7 out of 10, but the reality is most people, although we had a couple of 7 out of 10s there from Emil Jacobson and User Production, but I'd say the mean average is probably 4.5 out of 10, which is slightly lower than what I would go with. I would actually go with a 6. I think Lindelof and Lukaku are good signings. Let's not forget Rooney's gone as well, so I think a 6 is probably would be my score, but we're teetering on the edge. I think if you add Perisic, it probably, if we get Perisic, it wouldn't add me any higher, maybe 6.5. If we got Matic, I'd stay at 6.5. If we were then to get a marquee signing, you could get up to 8, couldn't you? But yeah, I did have a sleep, Blaine. I slept for about 2 hours because I was watching Game of Thrones, which I thought was an okay opener for those who haven't watched it yet. It was an okay opener, yeah. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, don't worry. We don't do that. But yeah, so United's transfer window is a little bit of a question mark at the moment, I suppose. I don't really know what my thoughts on it until it's done. But let's have a look at this team again, because it's going along the bottom of the screen. So we've got Joel Pereira in goal. Fosu Mensah back at right back. He needs to have a better game tonight. It wasn't so good 48 hours ago, but there are personal circumstances in relation to the Ajax player who is his best friend. So it's going to get something from Mourinho here. It's just talking about the altitude, because there's altitude in this game, and he says that's good because of preparation for fitness. Perisic deal dead, confirms, says Ned BVV. I'll have a look at that for you in a minute. Thoughts on McTominay, says Ryan McSquegan. Oh, Lynn's up. Well, hello Lynn. I'll take your comment as well. My thoughts on McTominay are honest. I don't think he'll be a Manchester United player. I think he's on this squad because we haven't signed our midfielder, and he's there to fill the squad. But I'm looking forward to watching him, because I have not really been that massively impressed with him. But let's see what he does today. Lynn says to lose to Hertha Real after the way they messed around on Morata would be humiliating. It would be a massive L. I agree with that. Daryl Garner says he was one of the first 1,000 subscribers to United Stand. Thanks, Daryl. That's amazing, actually, to think that you were that. We'll probably hopefully go past 114,000 tonight if we get a few new people involved. Which is a landmark for people if you're watching live. But yeah, so the team lineup is Joel Pereira in goal, Fosu Mensah at right back, Lindelof and Jones as centre backs, and we've got Daley Blind probably playing at left back with Carrick, McTominay and Pogba as a midfield three. We've then got Lingard, Mkhitaryan and Lukaku as our completing the lineup. So it's more of a mix. I'm happy with that team than I was on Saturday. I think Saturday, as I said, the first half was a little bit of a dull side, whereas I think he's spreading it around over both halves today, which is going to be interesting for us. And I hope to see I hope we see the performance from Mkhitaryan again. I didn't really give him much of a shout out, but he played very well. The three players that really stood out for me were Martial, Rashford and Pereira, Andres Pereira, so hopefully we'll see them. Chris is saying that Dye has been announced on United's Instagram. Chris, what I would say is I'm in charge tonight, and I will strike people off for fake rumours, because it's not very good, is it? Lewis Hanley says no guest tonight. Look, that's a controversial point. If anybody's seen Mad Marcus, the answer's on a postcard. I don't know. I get on with him very, very well, but I just don't know what's going on with that. It's a bit of a shame. Maybe he will turn up. I don't know. But we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Is Shaw on the bench? I don't think he's fit and ready yet. Mata did play well as well, David Allen Taylor. I agree with that. And Buddha says 1,700 watching. That's a good turnout, to be fair. It is. I'm sure it'll pick up as it carries on as well. Chris, I've warned you once. I won't warn you again. We haven't signed anybody, because if we had, it would be on Twitter, and we haven't. Let's have a quick look if we can catch up on anything for you going on at the moment. I wanted to just get you the latest on Perisic, didn't I? That's what I did want to do. In relation to Eric Dyer, I think a deal can be done with Spurs. because they've sold Kyle Walker, and I would take him over Matic. Now, the latest I've heard about Perisic is that there's a deal been done, and it's for 39.5 million with 4.5 million in add-ons, which would take it up to 44 million, which it's too much, but it's not the 50 million we thought was going to happen. So hopefully we can get that deal done. It needs to happen sooner rather than later, because we don't want him to be going on the tour with Inter Milan. And although there is rumours, as I read now, that he is expected to go on the tour, which is infuriating. We'll wait and see what happens. We'll wait and see what happens, because I do think this transfer window, as I say, I think that there has been some failure. Shubhan Thacker says it's 6:45 in India, so he can't watch the match because he's got to go to school. To be honest with you, that is the flip side of having to get up early. For those people who are feeling tired, and I'm actually feeling okay, the flip side is, if it was like the China Tour or something like that, those games could kick off at 1 PM, right in the middle of the day, and if you've got work or school, you can't watch it. So at least you've got that option of getting up and watching it if you're in the UK. XBR Roughneck has made a contribution. He says, we kept De Gea and Pereira is back. Perisic, Lukaku, Lindelof, 6 out of 10 and no lower. If we don't get Perisic, 5. Well, he's on about the transfer window, which is a fair point. Let's wait and see what happens with it. Okay, just having a quick look at something, which I'll update you with very, very soon. Right. It's 3:15 AM in Norway. Lucky I've got summer break, says H. Martin. And Mark, are you going to be up to date with the match this time, says Tony O'Treebox. Yes, I will be. I forgot to tell people about that. I was going to say last night. So I'm watching it on Mutv. I normally watch it on the TV, which I am watching tonight, and the delay will be minimal. But I did use you can get Mutv on your computer, which is what I did, because I can do it in a different room then, which is more comfortable for me. But it was at least around about a minute behind, so we won't have that problem tonight. Vivek says Mkhitaryan versus Mata, who's your first choice? It's a good point. Mkhitaryan on form is better than Mata, but Mata's way more consistent. So you go with consistency, don't you? Andy Manchester says, Mark, give yourself a shout out from me for your 100% commitment, please. It's 2:17 AM, and Thomas Muller is. Oh, we've got Ed on. I didn't realise Ed was on the super comments. Super comments on the comments. I didn't realise we had a moderator tonight, so Ed's with us as well. So big up to him. Does great stuff on the comments section for us, which is good. 1,000 likes before kickoff, says ONG. Yeah, drop a like if you like the video. It's a unique community we've got going on when we do these watch-alongs, and a very different sort of community when. Then once the season gets up and running, it's more sociable, isn't it? The games matter. That I'm sure we'll see more and more people watching, but there's still a lot of you watching tonight, and it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. T3 Triple D, it says he's shattered. I'm feeling all right. I don't know why. But Michael Barkley says I'm so tired, but I'm a loyal guy. Retro Element says, where's Marcus? I think that should be the title of the show. It's 9 PM in Jamaica, says Donks Gaming. And Mark, you're not having a guess, says Lorenzo Rodriguez. Not that I know of, unless you want to come on, Lorenzo, but I know it's a difficult time. Mark, look at my message on Messenger, says Liam Gwinney. Can have a look at that. Messenger's a Facebook thing, isn't it? Oh, he's just saying that United's Facebook page gave away the lineup ages ago, which is cool. The one thing that's, I wouldn't say bothering me, I'm quite relaxed, I'm quite looking forward to Manchester United playing a football game, which is what it's all about. But what is on my mind is Real Salt Lake playing 3 teams. Are they sharing it out, or are they playing their best team for half an hour? You know what I mean? Because I think that although we won the first half against LA Galaxy, we know that that was their reserve, so you have to balance that. But we don't know a lot tonight about who is who. And I'm trying to find out for you. There's no worries in relation to the game being put back, by the way, because there was some weather warning. But there's nothing said, nothing about that at the moment. In fact, you know, it looks okay. Mourinho speaking positively about the training, and says it's going really well at the moment, and the best thing to do is to avoid injuries because things are going so well. And obviously I said before that he is happy about the altitude and the weather conditions, because that will make it harder for us, which is what I agree. It's a lot of it's about fitness for Manchester United, and you know, playing 3 teams and we're only going to play 2 teams is good. Let me come back to the live comments. Perisic in 48 hours, says Arrowell. Hovering around the 2,000 watchers mark. Not talking to myself there. I mean, 2,000 watchers would be a mark, and we've just gone past it. We've got a little bit of a community going on, I think, on this show tonight, because it is the early hours for a lot of us in the UK. I know we keep mentioning that, and you've got every right, if you are from America or Asia, to say, shut up, Mark. We do this every week of the season when you lot get it at a good time. But, you know, it is a new experience for a lot of us, and you know, just share the love. I always share it with you lot. So on the point of share, what I was going to say is, let's see if we can pick up a few new United Stand viewers tonight at this weird time to do it. If you are new to the United Stand, make sure you click that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner and subscribe to the biggest independent Manchester United fan channel on YouTube, made for the fans, by the fans. We've got the interactive live comments on every show, and we're certainly going to have a bit of fun tonight watching United play Real Salt Lake. And if you are already a subscriber, please could you click the share button underneath, and if you're on Twitter or Facebook, just share it on there, and let's see if we can pull some people in, because like United in the Stand says, we're the hashtag hardcore United Stand fans, of which, as I said before, many of you outside of the UK, worldwide, are already hardcore fans. But as UK and Ireland and Europe fans, and South Africa, because it's not, I don't realise South Africa, it's probably only about 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, so let's not forget the Africans as well. And I suppose parts of, I don't want to get too geographical on you, but if you're up early in the early hours watching United Stand, getting ready for the United game, you're part of the hardcore fans. And even Rodney, who's on the United Stand tonight, he bottled it. He couldn't stay up because he's got something to do. But with the early morning squad, says Dominic King D. And Mark, what do you think about signing Javi Martinez as a centre defensive midfielder, says James Wright. We spoke about him before. We're not linked to him at all. I like Javi Martinez. Danny Jones says, I'm a new subscriber, Mark. I agree with a lot you say. You do a great job. Thanks, Danny. Welcome to the channel if you are a new subscriber. You don't, admitting you agree with a lot of what I would say, probably get you pretty unpopular, but you know what, it's all about opinion. If you watched Skype Goldbridge last night, and I realise there's only a few hours between shows at the moment because there's so much going on, but if you get a chance to watch the Skype Goldbridge show last night, tomorrow at some point, because we won't be doing a transfer daily in the morning tomorrow, because the match reaction is going to go out after this, which is only going to be about 2 hours before 7 o'clock by the time it's done. But if you watched the Skype Goldbridge show yesterday, which is the Neymar video, there's a good couple of calls on there that I disagree with, but that's what it's all about. It's all about opinion, and it's all done in a constructive, respectful way. But everyone's going to disagree on things, aren't they? I mean, I said last night that I'm excited that Matic is going to sign for Juventus, and a few people are saying, well, he's better than nothing, which I totally agree. But I don't want Matic at United, and I'm more excited that we might not get him, but we'll have to wait and see on that. We've had a contribution. You can contribute to the United stand if you want to. If everyone wants to contribute a tenner just because I've got up early, I'm joking, by the way. If you want to contribute to the United stand, it's appreciated. But if you do, you can do that through the super chat option, which is the $ if it's there on the bottom of the live comments. But if you do it, please make sure you leave us a question or something you want us to say out loud, and we'll do it for you. And this one's from Moses, who says Ivan Perisic is the man we need. He's fast, strong, two-footed, skillful, corner specialist, and a great long shot taker, I think it is. 31 starts, 11 goals, 8 assists, 239 crosses. And you know what, Moses? The most important stat from me there is the amount of crosses he puts in, because he's two-footed, and that means that every one of those crosses will be getting a lot more of those running down the left wing, whip it in with your left foot, running down the right wing, whip it in with your right foot. I mean, obviously sometimes he might cut back, but he's got that ability to whip the cross in from the natural side, which United have missed for years. And if you're a forward like Lukaku, you want it whipped in so you can attack it, and if you're a defender, you don't want it whipped in because it's in that, no man's land. If it's between the centre back and the goalkeeper and you're facing your own goal, nightmare to defend. United don't do it enough. Triple X John the Great says he's recently subscribed to the channel. That's great, and welcome to the channel, pal. I never noticed them as much as I used to. I suppose it's because it's a little bit quieter because it's the early hours, so I'm getting to read the comments a little bit more. Awesome Leo says it's 4:30 AM in Tanzania, which is still that can't be right. Tanzania. Is that the one that's in Africa? Because I think I'm thinking about Tasmania, which is in near Australia, isn't it? So yeah, Tanzania is in Africa. It's in East Africa, so 2 hours ahead would be about right. Yeah, I wasn't disagreeing with you. That's your country. You know better than me. But I just wondered where it was. It's 11 AM in Melbourne, says Ben Tran. So that's not a great time, is it really? Because you've probably all got work and school, so we're probably not going to get many of the old Australians watching. I've just realised that's probably why the viewing figures are slightly down, because it's a school night, isn't it? And for some people they'll be in bed, and for some people they won't. They'll be at school. And Hezo's got a science test tomorrow. And Abdullah Metar, he subscribed to us when he had 3,000 subscribers. In a few minutes time I might ask a few people that when they subscribed, because I'm always intrigued by how long people have been with us. But let's talk a bit about the football at the moment. Lorenzo says you can come on if you want a guest, as long as you're able to come on and talk, Lorenzo. I do appreciate that, wherever you are, it might not be, I don't want you waking up your family and stuff like that. Apparently I pronounced Tanzania correctly the first time, which I can't remember how I did it. Denver Dibber says he was the 40th subscriber back in the day. Keep up the hard work. Live from Madison, Wisconsin, and it's the perfect time in Hawaii. The X pool, got no problem with that. I'm just not going to read it out, obviously, but no problem with that at all. And Cam subscribed a year ago. It's 9:30 at night in Canada, and I stay up till 5, so it doesn't affect me. And hi Mark, what's up? The one master said, would you like Evra back at United? Just for the bants, but just for the bants. And Lewis Smith says he subscribed at 40,000 subscribers. Yeah, I've got work tomorrow. People keep asking me if I've got work tomorrow. Yeah, I have got work tomorrow. And hopefully I'll feel like this for the rest of the day, because I don't actually feel too bad at the moment. But it'll be a long day, but I'll get into work and I'll go and get a coffee. And obviously I've got Sebi, little Sebastian, at the moment who's only 4 weeks old. So that's sort of, I'm quite used to not having the sleep. My problem is getting up, and I think in the LA Galaxy game when I got up, I was very, very deep. That's what she said, and very, very tired. It hit me like a freight train. Don't do that. But I feel okay at the moment, so we'll see how it goes. I'm sure you lot are going to keep me up for the next few games, next few hours, and then I'm thinking at about 5:30 I might go for a run. Collymore didn't reply. No, Abdul. Grayson Wright subbed at 10,000. What do you work as, Mark? Says Trigger. A lot of people always ask that. Why are we watching fake news? Says the X-Pool. And yep, it's fake news. And Mr. Wheels says he's been subscribed since 12,243 subscribers. Very accurate. It's almost like he might have it written in a diary. And Casper LD says I was in at 15,000. And will Marcus be on? Says Kieran Byrne. Don't think so. Not through any fault of mine or Ed's or anybody's. Nobody really knows what's gone on there. I can't comment. I don't know. Don't know what his problem is. I subbed at 900 subs or something. Says Cool Guy. And give us an early morning son. Says Mark. And Lorenzo says he can call in. Let me sort Skype out. Give me a few minutes, Lorenzo, and we'll sort that out. United in the Stands has been here since 10,000. I'm going to ask everybody where they're calling from in a moment, but Johnzo Shock, bringing it back to the football, says, what's your opinion on 3 at the back? Do you think it's viable? I do. I liked the formation at the weekend, actually, and really enjoyed it. And I was hoping we would see it again, but for it to disappear again so quickly makes me think that maybe there was nothing in it actually becoming a consistently used outlet. William Keogh's made a contribution. Thanks, William, as has Rupin. He's made a contribution as well. Thank you for those super chats. And obviously we did Moses and Exbranek. Danny Dobson made a contribution as well. Danny, he asked for the score prediction. So hard, Danny, because Real Salt Lake are playing 3 teams. We're playing 2 teams in this 90-minute game. So my score prediction, I'm going to go 5-2 with no conviction at all. But give us your score predictions as well, and we'll see who gets it right. Danny also said, was I in the vodka and orange? Which, no. But I meant to come back to that one. And also, FaZe Kickass has said, come on United. Yes, come on United. Let's not forget, we've got a Manchester United game here. I know we all get a little bit frustrated by the lack of transfer news. And it is frustrating. And I do agree with that. But watching Manchester United play football is why we support Manchester United. And that's what I'm really looking forward to tonight. But I'm going to get there. I like to be accurate. That's what she said. I've done 2 of them already. I like to be accurate, and I want to find out something about the Manchester City game before I commit totally to what I'm about to say. I think it's being played at 2:30 in the morning UK time. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit earlier, because we've done the hard games then. I feel guilty saying that, but for the UK viewers, we've done the hard games after Man City in relation to kick-off times, because the LA Galaxy was 3 o'clock, wasn't it? And we've got this one's a 3 o'clock kick-off in the morning, and the Manchester United versus Manchester City one is 2:30 in the morning, I believe it is. Yeah, 2:30 in the morning on Friday. So I might have a drink with you then, because it's nearly the weekend, isn't it? We've then got Real Madrid on Sunday night at 10 o'clock, which is very, very agreeable with us. That'll be fine. I don't know what we'll do about Sunday Night Live. Maybe we'll do Sunday Night Live and just continue all the way through from 8:30. I think that's a good idea actually. Sunday Night Live, we'll put that out during the week. So we'll do Sunday Night Live at 8:30 and we'll go all the way through to kick off. So that's fine. We can just have an extended watch along for that. Wednesday the 26th of July we've got Barcelona versus Manchester United at midnight. So stay up and watch that and then get yourself to bed. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's those. Just wanted to update you about them. Have we got anything else going on? He says I don't think so. How many years has this channel been up and running, says Ice Cake Coca? It'd be 3 years at Christmas, the United Stand. We were Soccer Box from about the start of September. But realistically, it was... oh, yawning, we don't want that. It was just after Christmas 3 years ago. And True Commander is working the night shift in London. He's loving the show and he subscribed a week ago. I find it really... nice that we still pick up subscribers who find the channel and really enjoy it from a week ago, a day ago, a month ago, 2 months ago. And whilst I enjoy that as obviously the presenter on the United Stand, I think you lot on the live comments who've been here for a long time, that's the point what I was going to make there, is that you should feel proud of it as well, because they come and see the live comments as well, and that's an attraction to them on the channel. So the way it grows organically because of everybody's input is fantastic. Ocean Man says, I'm already sick of all the first touch jokes. Thanks for the contribution, pal. I think he must be talking about the Lukaku stuff. Lukaku's weakness for me is his first touch, but I think it'll sort it out. That one Meister says, would you sell De Gea to Madrid for 20 million and Isco? I wouldn't sell De Gea to Madrid for anybody now, to be honest. I want to keep him. I think it's too late in the season to be messing around selling our goalkeeper. He's one of the best in the world, especially when there isn't any good goalkeepers available like Schmeichel and not Schmeichel, God I'm tired, Donnarumma, Oblak. So if we lost De Gea and then we start, my issue is that because Romero's just signed a new contract, if we sold De Gea, does that mean we're going to play Romero in goal number one? Because we will never win the title. It's like Romero for me is on a par with Lingard and Fellaini. Good squad player, but put them in the team and play them more than 20 times in a season and we won't win the title. They're not good enough. Stephen says, I appreciate you doing this, Mark, so early. Look, we're going to be here. We're going to be here for every watch along for the United Stand, for Manchester United. We're not going to lose it. We're not going to break that run just because we've got to get up early, and you lot deserve as much as a shout out as anybody else. And as Darren Young says, we're the United Stand's world army, and we stay together. Mark, would you like William Carvalho, says Ben Deacon. No, I don't rate him at all. Don't sell De Gea. I hope he can be the legend in United. It's a Sunday match. Let's pray Lukaku scores a hat-trick today. I'd like to see him score. I think, obviously they don't count because it's not they're only friendly pre-season games, but it'll count in his head if he scores a goal for Manchester United. And a striker lives off confidence, and he would have wanted to score at the weekend and he didn't. But if he gets that first goal in a Manchester United shirt, it will improve his confidence. People are talking about Game of Thrones. I'm sure Ed will remove those comments because we get a lot of trolls on here anyway. So all I would say on the live comments, if it's anything to do with the transfer, then just ignore it. Like Mohamed Chowdhury, he does it a lot, and he's actually on the thinnest of ice. The ice is almost breaking. His feet are getting very cold, wet. If I see another one, Mohamed, you'll be gone. He says Dimarzio has said that Sanchez is coming to United in an 88 million deal accepted. I can categorically tell you without even checking that is nonsense, because Mohamed consistently puts comments in there that are a load of rubbish. But he's been noted, so let's see if he does another one. Flipper03 is watching on ESPN2, and Lanky Snake says, how can we watch the game? Well, I'm watching it on MUTV. You know, it's the club's channel. We're not. It's not like Sky or BT, where they, you know, some of that money will go to crap clubs that we don't even support. MUTV, it's our club's channel, so I'm more than happy to contribute to that. Mark, do you think Rashford will become the all-time top goal scorer for United one day? Says Hamza. He could do, but it's difficult because you've got to avoid injury, etc. Morning all from Indonesia, says Zenil Brave. I'm going to do that in a minute. You just reminded me. And would you like Hamzik? Says Rick Tapio. I'd like anybody at the moment. Brad Gamesters watching from the UK. Good. Shout out to UK and Ireland and Europe and parts of Africa. If you've had to get up in the middle of the night, we're getting the shout out tonight. We're getting the kudos. Maradi Mukhtarif says, Mark, you tired? No, I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad on this one. I was daunted. It was very daunting because the LA Galaxy got one, like I was saying a few minutes ago, really did tire me out. But this one, for some reason, I feel alright at the moment. I'm going to check the super chats in a minute. Don't worry, Mr. DK Gaming. If you make a contribution, you'll definitely get a shout out, and whatever you've asked, you'll read. Just out of interest, Lewis Smith says, just out of interest, do you earn enough money from this channel yet to live off it without having to work? No, I don't. And I wouldn't anyway, because as I was saying on the show I did at lunchtime, on my lunch break off my phone, lovely day yesterday. I think it's going to be nice again tomorrow, so hopefully we'll sign Perisic and I can do another one off my phone. I think it's very important, and I do like doing this because I like to give my opinion when I'm asked a question, but I think it's very important that fan content is driven by fans who aren't driven by it being their job. I think when you've got content that people are doing it full time, in my experience, it becomes very manipulative and watered down, because understandably, if that person or journalist, it's their job, they can't necessarily give their honest opinion, because if they do, it might, you know, be a controversial opinion, and hence they might not get as many people clicking on their articles, watching their content. So the thing I like about the United Stand and a few other content providers who don't do it as a full-time job is, one, I know how much effort they put in their spare time because we do it, and two, I know that 9 times out of 10 their opinion is really 100% honest and true to themselves, because what does it matter? I know I can come on the United Stand and say what I like, because I've got no fear that if the United Stand finishes tomorrow, and I don't want it to finish, I've still got the skills and my job that I do. So no, we're not full time, and it doesn't make enough money to be full time anyway. Why do you think Lingard is crap? He is a good squad player, says James Wright. I'm going to answer that question in a minute. Why do I think Lingard's crap? I don't think Lingard's crap. I think he's a good squad player. But I think, as I said before, and I've said it a few times, I think if you play Lingard and Fellaini consistently in the first team for Manchester United, then Manchester United consistently won't win the league. They're not players that would get into the top 8 sides, probably the top 8 sides. Lingard wouldn't even get in the first 11, yet he plays quite regularly for Manchester United. And the same with Fellaini. These players need to be bench players, like you say. These players need to be squad players. Just very, very quickly, I saw this on the video from last night, and I've seen a couple of people throwing this around a little bit about the United Stand using clickbait titles. We've always used the same sort of titles, especially through the summer. We've been doing it for nearly 3 years. It's only because we're bigger now and more of you watch it and get involved, that people start coming out with this childish clickbait. Oh, you use clickbait titles, or fake news. We don't use clickbait titles because our views are pretty consistent across whatever title we use, and clickbait is, by its very essence, done so that you click on something and it's a lie when you watch it. And if we did that, then we wouldn't have many views, and we'd have, you know, it would impact on our channel. So we don't clickbait. If people are talking about Neymar from last night, Neymar was all over the news last night because PSG were talking about the release clause. I don't think we'll sign Neymar. The title was Neymar to Manchester United ? And we spoke about it in the first few minutes. So how can it be clickbait? He's in the news. I spoke about it in the first few minutes of the video. I don't think we'll sign Neymar. But if Neymar did leave Barcelona, I don't think he'd go to PSG, because I think Woodward would be all over that deal, and I think we would offer more than PSG. And that's my thoughts on it. That's not clickbait. So don't fall into these little childish games. I hate the fake news thing, but I've just realised that Drawty on this studio has actually put fake news in the bottom left hand corner, so I can't really use that. But the clickbait thing is just hilarious. I tell you what though, on a real positive, this last hour we've been live has absolutely flown by, and we're very close to the game kicking off, which is great. It's 15 minutes to go, says Hafil. It's 9:44 AM in New Jersey. No, PM it would be. Live Nater makes a very good point. He says it's a transfer review show, so naturally you're going to look at all the transfer news. Exactly. Momit Chowdhury's gone. He was warned, wasn't he? We do run a democracy on the United Stand. We are very, very fair, and Ed does a great job on the moderating. I think he does a great job, but sometimes I just swoop in and block people because I do read most of the comments. I can't read them all out, but I do read most of them. CM23 says, I defended you when someone said you clickbaited. I saw all the comments on the video last night for the Neymar one, and I put up a comment in reply. It's boring. You're always going to get haters, to be honest, but when they start spamming the comment section, it's boring. Here's a good question from Jordan Burbeck. He says, Idrissa Gueye from Everton, Eric Dyer or Nemanja Matic. Personally, Gueye for me, says Jordan Burbeck. I think I'd go Eric Dyer. I like Gueye, but I don't know whether he could make the step up. And I get the feeling that Dyer is Mourinho's first choice. It wouldn't be my first choice, but as I've said a few times, what I want to happen this summer, I want Mourinho to get as many first choices off that list as he can. And I think, Perisic is clearly one. I think Eric Dyer might be two. I don't think Lukaku was first choice. I think Morata was. I think Lindelof was obviously first choice. So I want him to get the first choices. And if we disagree with him and they're wrong, then he has to shoulder the responsibility for that. I don't want Mourinho to be, and have no doubt, if you followed Mourinho in his career, have no doubt that he'll make it very, very clear he hasn't got his first choice signings if he doesn't get them, because he doesn't like taking the blame. Hey Mark, what's your thoughts on Wesley Sneijder? As signing new lads are difficult, on the other hand, he's a free agent now, says Honey MFC. It's not, Sneijder's been linked to United so much over the years, it's laughable, but he is a player that Mourinho likes. I think he's too old for the Premier League now. Live Nater makes an interesting comment. He says, I'm writing this season off. Jose needs one more window to get his team finalised. Griezmann and Pulisic next summer will complete his team. Trevor Evans says there's 2,500 people watching. Let's get to 1,000 likes before the match. Being as we're the hardcore, we should all be liking. Are you doing United Stand polo shirts on Amazon? Says Jonathan Royston Ford. Mark, I haven't put the link up for that actually. I must start putting the link up for the t-shirts. Eric says he's loving the fact that it's at 10 PM and not 6 AM in Texas watching United. Yeah, it is. It isn't easy getting up in the early hours to watch Manchester United, and I think when the season kicks off, we'll have a deeper understanding of how the worldwide support has to do it. Justin says, Mark, can you watch live United games in the English Premier League on MUTV? Because I want to subscribe and I don't want to spend money if I don't get live streams for United games. You don't get English Premier League games live on MUTV in the UK, and I'm not too sure whether you do get it abroad. Somebody in the live comments will let you know. But yeah, so they do the replay sort of thing, but they're not live. You can get MUTV though. You can just get MUTV for the next 30 days and then cancel it if you just want to watch the US Tour, because the US Tour games will be exclusively, and the pre-season friendlies will be exclusively on, I think every game's on MUTV up until the Super Cup against Real Madrid, And you know, MUTV is good because you get the youth games, and there's a few, like I was watching the season review before I went live for a little bit. But as James B said, on the problem with the MUTV coverage is it's pretty, the presenters are pretty grey. They could do a hell of a lot better on that channel. I think they should interact with the United Stand, and their subscribers would go through the roof. But you know, call into MUTV and tell them. But yeah, it's well worth getting because you get to watch the youth a lot, and for the tour it's really good. Ziad wants to call in about a deal for Fabinho. Not the best time with only 11 minutes to go. Lorenzo, I'll speak to you in the week about maybe getting you on for the City game. Out of respect for Marcus, I'm not going to get a guest on because it feels a bit, I don't know what his problem is, I don't know why. I've sent him messages. Apparently he has he's not talking to anybody, so I don't know what his problem is. I've always got on with him really well. I think we do this show really well together. I don't know why he'd turn his back on doing it, but out of respect for him, and I don't know what his problem is. Like I said, I'll just do it on my own tonight. It's fine. It's disappointing for everybody, but you know, it means I'll interact with the live comments a lot more. Kamya says, hi Mark, thanks for the contribution, Kamya, and hello back. Live Nater says, Sorge Aurier, in my opinion, isn't worth the bother after the abuse he gave to Blanc on Periscope. And Lorenzo says, that's fine Mark, I'm up for the City game. Yeah, let's just do it as a sort of tribute to Mad Marcus tonight that we won't do it. Carl Watkins is saying it's cheaper to get MUTV online. What I would say is I did that, and there's a difference. Like, I've been watching it on the telly tonight. If I watched it on, in fact I'll compare the two, but I was about 50 seconds behind. We've got 10 minutes to go. Let's do this then. Where is everybody watching from? We do it on every watch along, and it's always interesting for everybody to see. So get commenting, let us know where you're watching from. You don't need to tell us what time it is, because I'm acutely aware what time it will probably be in Europe, and I've got a rough idea of America and Asia. But get commenting, let us know where you're watching from. Whilst I multitask, but I know you won't mind me doing that. Am I going back to bed after this? No, it'd be 5:30 in the morning by the time I've done this and the match reaction, so I won't be going back to bed. I think I'll have a nice coffee, a nice leisurely breakfast, a nice shower, and get off into work. It's going to be a long day, but I'm glad I spent it with you. There's a song in that, but no, I think if I went back to bed now for an hour, that would kill me, because I did that at the weekend after LA Galaxy. I went back to bed for about 4 hours, and when I woke up, it's just not enough, and I felt really bad for it. Right, let's have a look what people are saying. So we've got India from Caleb John, we've got Camille in Poland, we've got TR Blazing in Kenya, we've got Gel in the Netherlands, we've got Zane in Oldham, we've got Michael Van Gerwen in Ireland, we've got Canada for Patricio, we've got Matthias in Estonia, we've got Himanshu in India, we've got Liam in Wrexham, we've got somebody in Poundland, that's Lanky Boy XX. Where's Mad Marcus, says Charlie Gonzalez, I don't know. Tyler Smith is absolutely shattered. Share it, don't fight it, don't bite it. And the Gaming Prospect is in South Africa. We've got Chavari Arpan in Yokohama in Japan, where it's 10:53 AM. Doncaster for Mitchell Bate, New Jersey for Mohammed. We've got Kurtz in India, Kurt Pachicho. Houston for Sak Kamer, Albania for Ronaldo. AG is in Macedonia. Samuel's in Australia. It's quite impressive for Australia to be watching, because it's in the middle of your day, isn't it? Ronnie Royango has made a contribution. We'll come back to that. First goal scorer says Michael Cunningham. I'm going to go Lukaku. Jeremy Lambert says he's in Bermuda. And we've got Basanta in Nepal. Garth Little's in Jamaica. There's always a Jamaican there. And Emmanuel says how to cancel MUTV. Not on here. We're not the subscription service for the MUTV. If you're online, you just go into the settings, and if it's through your TV company, you just phone them up. And the game hasn't started yet. Johnny Blood. I'll tell you when it starts. Republic of Congo is Finian Watt, Bedford for Buddha, and Flippers in the United States. And Mad Marcus is forcing a transfer, says Jackson Bull. Yeah, maybe. Right, let's have a look at community settings. And let's have a look at the super chats, because I think there might have been a few. So Ronnie Ryunga has made a contribution. He says B can help Aurea grow by him. GGM, Glory Glory Manchester United. Thanks for the contribution, Ronnie. Yeah, I think the thing about Aurea is that Serge Aurier from PSG is a right back, and he has got a bit of a bad boy attitude, but I think Mourinho is the sort of manager who could sort him out. Ferris Odie, thanks for the contribution. He says thoughts on Chicharito to West Ham. My thoughts are that I wouldn't mind him at Manchester United, but to be fair to him, if he goes to West Ham, he's going to play every week, isn't he? He's not going to play every week at Manchester United. So, yeah. Yasser Dega, sorry, got that totally wrong. Yash Darga has made a contribution. He says, love the channel, Mark, and I've been here since 11,000 subscribers. Well, you know what? Whether you've started this week and you really love it, we love that. As a community, you're welcome. If you're a new subscriber, fantastic. Just keep getting involved. We've got shows every day, 8:30 at night, and there'll be stuff during the day as well. But if you've been here since 11,000 subscribers, that is amazing. And the fact that you've been here that long just shows that the channel is very consistent, and it's consistent because of you lot. Rahul Matthews says, Mark, your eyes are red. You're a true United fan. Thanks, Rahul. And they're red because I'm tired. And we've caught up on the super chats, which is great. I'll keep reviewing them, don't worry. If you contribute, we will definitely read them out. Let me come back. Bulb says, who's in the starting lineup? Well, it's going along the bottom of the screen for you. We're about to start this game. It's Joel Pereira starting in goal. Now, he didn't actually play very well at the weekend. So we've got Joel Pereira, Fosu Mensah at right back, Jones and Lindelof as centre backs, Daley Blind left back, Carrick, Pogba, McTominay in the midfield with Mkhitaryan, Lingard and Lukaku. So players I'll be looking at in the first half. We've nearly hit 1,000 likes before kickoff. That'd be fantastic if we do that. Remember to keep clicking the like button. Well, you can only click it once, so don't keep doing it. The players that Imad says Nolito to Sevilla confirmed, Mark. Thanks, Imad. How do I put it? I'm not really interested in what Manchester City are doing. But thanks for keeping us updated. I'm sure some people might be. I don't mean to be rude, by the way. Thanks for that update. Kieran Burns says the United stand is way better than MUTV. To be honest, I'd be concerned if we weren't. In relation to the presenting side of things, what am I looking at in this game? So Lukaku, obviously. What I would say about Lukaku is, even if he has a bad game, I thought what he brought to the team on Saturday was the ability to free up space for players behind him, which Zlatan didn't and Rooney didn't, because they don't have the pace to push the defenders back, but they also wander into space that Pogba and the number 10 want. So Lukaku, whether he plays well or not, I like the way that he pushes defences back and he plays on the last line. So interesting to watch him. Lindelof, need to see a bit of improvement from him. He wasn't great at the weekend. Not worried about that, but let's keep an eye on Lindelof. Fosu Mensah is always a player to keep an eye on because we like him. The goalkeeper needs a better game. McTominay, keep an eye on him, young player. Obviously keep your eye on Pogba. And yes, there's a few players that I'll be keeping an eye on. And obviously in the second half I'll be looking at people like Pereira. Hopefully we'll see him. I'm sure we will do. So yeah, lots of positives to look forward to, and also the fact that it's I think it's a better spread in the team from the game the other night, where the first half team I found quite boring. The second team was full of exciting flair players. I think he's spread it around more, which is good to see. Alvaro says, why am I not sleeping? You're not sleeping because you're watching Manchester United with the United Stand community, and that's great. Roy Keane is not on MUTV. Don't worry, that's Dennis Irwin. Mark, I just watched the movie United from 2011, says John Smith. I absolutely loved it. What are your thoughts? It made me love Duncan Edwards without even watching him play. Yeah, it's a cracking film, John. I'd recommend anybody watch it. You can't beat getting you can't beat discovering more about the club that you love, and United's history is the best there is to go. Carl Watkins has got work at 5:45. In a way, I sort of think if you're starting work at 6 or 5:45, Carl, at least you can just go right the way through. I don't start work till 8 o'clock, so the game will finish at 5:30. I ain't going back to bed, so just go through. Will's got to sit an exam in 6 hours. That is dedication, because I'd be thinking I need my sleep. Lanky Boy XX says Roy Keane or Duncan Edwards. I can't answer that question because Roy Keane's probably my favourite player that's ever played for Manchester United, and I never played for I never saw Duncan Edwards play, obviously, but based on people who did see him play, like my granddad and a few others, I would say Duncan Edwards, because and Bobby Charlton said he's the best he's ever seen and played with, so I'd go with Duncan Edwards, but it is totally based on what other people say. Thanks Ed for sorting out Braithwaite. I was just about to do him myself. We'll keep an eye on this. I'm sure he's added a couple of zeros, but Contentedly 8-ball Pool says he's bet £500 that Lukaku scores first, so he's probably put a fiver on it, but let's hope it comes in. Carrick leading the team out in that sexy black kit. It's a nice one. And Lynn Hall says reports of us talking to Schmeichel are a bit worrying. I tell you what, Lynn, Kasper Schmeichel and Manchester United is not a new story. It has been rumbling on for a few months now, so I would agree with you that it is one that's just keeps going on and on, but we'll just have to wait and see. My personal thought about De Gea is, if we were to sell De Gea, that one, why are we selling him to Real Madrid, who've just absolutely mugged us off publicly about Morata and are going to sell him for 60 million when they wouldn't sell him for 80 million to us? So why would we? I'd rather let him rot in the reserves than sell him to. I'd sell him to Barcelona. Don't sell him to Real Madrid. And two, why are we doing it in July / August? Why are we selling our goalkeeper in July / August? If we knew he was going to go, and let's be honest, I was saying that De Gea will go this summer back in April. We should have done it in May. We should have done it in June and given ourselves an opportunity to get people like Donnarumma. It's too late to be selling De Gea. I'll be very, very cross with the club if it happens now, because we could have controlled this, and it's no shock if he goes to Real Madrid. So we should have done it a lot earlier, not late. Shubik's made a contribution. He says just got back from work. It's 7:30 AM in India, and he's hoping Pogba assists and Lukaku scores. And Matt Grease has made a contribution. Thanks for that, Matt. It's only our second pre-season game, but I was just about to say it wouldn't surprise me if Lukaku and Pogba play every pre-season game in the same half in the same game, because he will want those two to form an understanding. We're very close to 114,000 subscribers, I've just realised. So if you are new, make sure you click that subscribe button. We've got a lot of people joining us now. I've noticed that the viewing figures have gone up as we approach kick-off time. So welcome to the United Stand if you're new. Live every night at 8:30, 7 AM with the transfer show. Live reaction to any transfers. Very interactive with the live comments. We did a Skype show last night where we had people calling in. So if you love Manchester United, you've found a fantastic community, and I'm very pleased to have so many people with us at this ungodly hour. But talking, United's a religion, and I doubt many Liverpool fans would get up to watch them at 3 AM. And they might do, to be honest. John Starr says you really hate Real Madrid. I don't really hate anybody. I dislike Real Madrid because I dislike what they do. Julian Deacon's made a contribution. and he's making me jealous because he says, forget team selection. The important decision is, shall I eat my Whisper or Crunchy first? Get commented and let him know what you think. Should he eat his Whisper or his Crunchy first? I know what I'd go with first, but they're both good chocolate bars. I wish I had one. Steve Salt says he loves the channel. Well, I love doing the channel, and we have hit 1,000 likes, so thank you. ZZK says Crunchy first, definitely. It's not started yet, and I don't know whether we never got to the bottom of whether Real Salt Lake are playing their best team now or they're playing them mixed up I know Real Salt Lake are playing 3 different teams every half an hour, but I don't know whether they're mixing it up. It's a draw so far for Julian. A few people saying Crunchy, a few people saying Whisper. I'd go with Crunchy because it's crunchy, and then you've got the smoothness of the Whisper for second. I think Crunchy's he's winning again now. We've hit 114,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. Welcome to the channel for everybody who's new, and all I would say is just keep getting involved, keep watching, and you know, every watch along, come back and watch us, but we have got shows all over, so make sure you click the subscribe button and hit that bell, and revisit every day. There's always content on the United Stand, and lots of interaction as well. ESPN said that Real Salt Lake are starting with their best team. Right, I just want to compare something because I've got MUTV on my telly and I've also got MUTV on my computer, and I just want to check who's quicker, because it's 3:05 again. They're always late in America, aren't they?
Voice, and for now the weather is well, it's pretty much on our side, isn't it? Threats of a storm overhead, which we may or may not see during the course of the game, but certainly the rain that we saw just a little while ago has just cooled everything down a touch. When we touched down in Utah just a few hours ago, it was touching 40 degrees Celsius. Certainly the players will be delighted that has cooled somewhat after training in the heat all week. Certainly weren't looking forward to really going for it around 100 Fahrenheit. It is going to be Real Salt Lake who kick us off. Albert Rusnot, the former Manchester City youth player, is over the ball. The referee, by the way, is Alan Chapman tonight, who is a Utah resident. Game 2 of the tour brings with it various
40 seconds behind. So TV's the way to go if you want to be up to date. Addy says, why don't you get more guests on? We will do. We will get more guests on in the future. What's going on with the sound? Oh, I know what's gone wrong with the sound. Yeah, I've turned it off now. I'm like, what's gone wrong with the sound? What's gone wrong with the sound? I just realised what's gone wrong with the sound because I've got the sound on my laptop, so it'll be all right now. I was thinking, how's my sound gone loud? I've been talking for an hour and no one said anything, and obviously I'd put something else on my computer. We're sorted. We're back, and it's sorted now. Okay. So game's kicked off. We're a couple of minutes in. And Lingard's playing on the right, so no, he's not. Mkhitaryan's playing on the right. You've got Carrick, Pogba, and McTominay seems to be playing a more advanced position. We are playing that flat back four of Lindelof and Jones. It'd be interesting to see Lindelof playing in a back four as well. He's playing to the right side with Jones playing to the left. Very good on the ball, Lindelof, and hopefully you'll see quite a lot of it in this formation. Pogba's playing a deeper role. There's a lot of movement between Carrick, Pogba and McTominay. They all seem to be playing quite an equal role. Daley Blind at left back, and like I say, you've got Lingard on the right. Fosu Mensah is getting forward quite a lot. He looks like our best player at the moment, and Jesse Lingard shoots wide. I think he was offside anyway, as Fosu Mensah slipped him in. Smoking Shade says you're 1 minute behind on game time. For one, how can you tell I'm 1 minute behind? Because we haven't even got the timer up on this one today. And two, we're not 1 minute behind. That's nonsense, because this is directly through MUTV. What I would say, the United players do look quite sharp in the way that they're moving the ball, but a lot of that, and I do read your comments about, oh, nice little flick by Lingard and everything like that. You've got to be very careful about these sort of games against MLS sides. As we saw with LA Galaxy, they don't obviously press teams very often, and they're not very good at being pressed. So our players are, and we do tend to look a hell of a lot better. Carrick's been robbed there, and Lindelof's in to clear it, and it's out for a throw-in. Gary Wells says it was a poor finish from Lingard. I think he was offside anyway. It's interesting this season how, well, it's only the second pre-season game, but in both games Lingard's been put out on the left. I'd leave him in the changing rooms. Have to be careful with MLS teams, they're not very good, says John Carlos. Moss Tears is on about Lukaku's first touch again. I haven't really noticed it yet. Israel Saltlaker on the attack here, shoots into the side netting. Nathan Brown says that I think if you're in America, your coverage might be slightly ahead of us, but to be honest, most of us are actually paying for MUTV and putting money into our club. So if it's slightly behind, there's not much we can do about that. It's a good little bit of running by Lukaku down the left hand side, and he frees it off to Lingard. He should shoot from there really, but he lays it off. McTominay. Ooh, just wide. I'm interested to watch McTominay. I think he should probably have a good game, because I think already it's pretty obvious that he's better than most MLS players. But I'll go back to the super chats. Don't worry, Fellaini, massive wing when we get a moment. He dragged that shot, to be honest, McTominay, but it should still be a corner, but it isn't. Reese, if people could just stop telling us that we're behind ESPN. As I said a minute ago, we're actually paying to watch Manchester United on MUTV, which is our club, putting money into our club. So if we're slightly behind, we're slightly behind, but you know, this is the proper service, so I'm not going to make any apologies about it. And I think it's only if you're watching it on ESPN you're probably slightly ahead. McTominay again with a shot, blocked out this time. I think Lukaku's had a good few touches in this game. What he has shown, and one thing I won't criticise about Lukaku about is actually when he gets the ball and he gets into his stride, he's quite a good dribbler. And you know, he's going to be playing with better technique players at Manchester United, so the training is going to improve his first touch. With all due respect to Everton, people like Ross Barkley and Miralles are not Carrick and Mkhitaryan and Pogba and Herrera. You know, these are, and Mata. These are you know, we might not have been that far ahead of Everton in the league points wise, but we are far ahead in relation to the players we've got in the squad and the technique we've got. So Lukaku will improve, and as Astro Nightcore says, his first touch does seem to be improving already. So, and I think it will do. There's some conflicting reports here. I mean, Rob Johnson's just said I'm watching MUTV on my iPad and you're about 1 minute behind me, which is total and utter nonsense, because I've just watched MUTV on my laptop, which is a minute behind what I'm watching here. So I fully expect that there may be differing times if you're watching it on ESPN, but I'm not watching it on ESPN. I'm watching it on MUTV. And look, if we're a few seconds behind, we're a few seconds behind. I'm not talking about it anymore. I just want to watch the game. You're starting to annoy me. If you don't want to watch us being a few seconds behind, don't watch us. I don't know what people want me to do. Magic a bloody time machine or something. I'm not in charge of MUTV broadcasts. If they're a few minutes behind or 10 minutes behind, then they need to sort that out, because people are paying money to be up to date, and they should be. Real Salt Lake are in here behind. Lindelof's had to cover Phil Jones, and a good bit of play. Great defending by Fosu Mensah there. The cross in. He's got a player with him, and I think Fosu Mensah, for me, as I'm going to tweet now, has been the standout player so far. I mean, it's too early to say, but I'm going with what the lad said in the live comments, that I presume this is Real Salt Lake's best team, because they have started off quite well. It's so difficult. I'll be happy. I'm enjoying this game, and I enjoyed the LA Galaxy game, and it's good in the sense that we get to see United play, and we get to build our fitness. But it's so hard to gauge what we're playing against. I don't know whether this is Real Salt Lake's best team, or is that the team that comes on after half an hour. I just don't know. So but when we play City and Real Madrid and Barcelona, we'll have a good idea of what the opposition is. Hoagie Roll says yes, this is their best team at the moment. So yeah, this is probably this is our hardest test of the night then in relation to ability. Yeah, this is their best team, and that's been confirmed by Patrick S. St. Pierre. So as we understand it, United are Real Salt Lake are only going to play a team for half an hour. They're going to change it 3 times during the game. I can't read his name because it's got so many X's in it, but Chico Noakes D says this is the game to play Daily Blind as a CDM. I just can't see that ever happening. There's not a timer tonight, Vico, and we can put a timer on, but I've forgotten for the last 2 games. But I'll update you with how long it's gone. So we're about 12.5 minutes into the game at the moment. Some people are getting on Lindelof's back already. We'll have to be careful of that. Garth says it's his birthday in Jamaica. Is it still your birthday if you leave Jamaica? But happy birthday, pal. Salt Lake are a better team than LA Galaxy, by the way. They have started off quite well. It's quite an even game so far, but they are better than LA Galaxy that beat them 6-2. The referee is stupid, says generic name 1. On a serious point about who's, because people will be watching it in different ways. Some people might be slightly ahead of us. Some people might be 40 seconds behind us, whatever. The reality is, we're all watching Manchester United play, and as I keep saying to you, it's nice to see goals because that's what we all want to see. But pre-season's all about looking at the players, seeing how they're developing, seeing what their confidence levels are right, and enjoying it. So, and we can all do that. Even if you're watching it in the morning, if you're watching it, then you get to see what the movement's like. I mean, Lingard's movement's been quite good. I just wish Lingard was a stone heavier. He's just so lightweight. That's the problem. Lingard could score a hat-trick in this game, and I would still say I don't want him to play for Manchester United because I've seen him week in, week out just get knocked off the ball like a wet fart every week, and that is his big problem. Anaki's channel is United fans from Indonesia. And Michael Foley says that Real Salt Lake are one of the top 3 teams in the MLS. Yeah, they started off quite well. They're on the attack again here. So it's a good test for United. Phil Jones, that's poor defending there from Jones. Good shot, straight at the keeper. I'll tell you what, they're a test for us at the moment. I'd say Salt Lake are on top. Apparently Real Salt Lake were destroyed with injuries and national team call-ups at the start of the season. Lukaku, he's overhit that pass. Not really seen much of Mkhitaryan, but this is the problem, isn't it? I think Mkhitaryan works far better as a number 10 or as an attacking midfielder. You put him on the wing and you just lose a big part of his game. That McTominay looks out of his depth, by the way. I thought that would be the case, but he doesn't look all that. He's the biggest thing with him is he's another player with a lack of pace. Good shot. Oh, Pereira held it as well. It's all Real Salt Lake at the moment, though. But this is what I said about the MLS teams, is that they are smack in the middle of their season or coming towards the end of their season, so their fitness levels will be better. So you're basically matching up fitness levels to ability. And they've moved the ball around very well. I mean, there's a definite contrast to LA Galaxy and Real Salt Lake. I mean, I saw the LA Galaxy game, as most of us did, and they just looked as if they really were not a very good advert for the MLS. They didn't close down, they didn't move the ball around very well, but Salt Lake have actually been a bit more tenacious in the tackle, and they've moved the ball around a lot better. Carrick needs to retire, says Roy Keane 91. Well, I've not heard anybody say that yet, but I think a lot of us thought Carrick was going to retire, but I disagree. I think I would put Carrick into the same category as Fellaini and Lingard now, in the fact that he can't play loads of games, because if he does, we won't be challenging for the title. It's just not good enough anymore. But Fosu Mendes has got a bit of space down the right, not a bad cross, and I don't think Lukaku was expecting it in so soon. Vincent says, I think he thinks I've been harsh on McTominay. It's all about opinion, mate. Ferris Odie's made a contribution. We're losing midfield because of McTominay. Thanks for that, Ferris. Instant backup of what I feel. Look, I'm sure he's a really nice lad. I hope he has a great career away from Manchester United, but ultimately you've got to be harsh when you're talking about the club that you love and support. And if you're not good enough, it's nothing personal, it's time to move on. I don't think McTominay would even be on this tour if Woodward had signed the players that he's meant to have signed. We clearly are 2 players short at the moment, and I think that's why McTominay certainly is part of the squad. It's great that Mourinho's given him some game time, but I don't see him. And if you speak to people who watch the youth every week, which I try to, but admittedly I don't pretend that I do. and but he's not a player that has been highlighted as a potential future Manchester United player, and I haven't seen anything in him that makes me think he is. He's just not. He's a midfielder. He's got some, I can understand why Mourinho likes him because he looks tall, but he's just not. He's not quick. He's not. Here we go. Good bit of defending there by Lingard, to be fair. I think Lingard and Fosu Mensah are probably our best two players in this game so far. Kieran Dunn says great tackle by Lingard. John Carlos says, did we miss out on not re-signing Harrop? Well, if we're talking about the young players who played in that last game of the season, Harrop, excluding Fosu Mensah and Twansibi, Harrop was comfortably the best player, and we've let him go. So I don't see a future at Manchester United for McTominay. We're definitely getting dominated, Samuel. I agree. Ian Forward says they're walking towards our defence with ease, and Twansibi is a good player also, says Stephen Chan. It'd be interesting to see if Fosu Mensah if Twansibi plays in this game. I'm trying to think in the second half. Our centre backs will probably be Bay and Smalling, won't they? Left back Darmian, right back Valencia. Trying to predict the team for the second half. Herrera will probably play midfield. Hopefully Pereira will play. And Mata, and then you've got Rashford, Martial, and you might play Twansibi in the midfield. Twansibi, Pereira and Herrera. That'd be a nice midfield in the second half. I think Lingard should go to the MLS. He's played very well in this half. Is Salt Lake on the attack again, and that was Lindelof. A few comments about Lindelof. Very hard to judge him after one half and another half of the game. He's part of a new setup. I don't care what anybody says. It's a big step up from the Portuguese league to the Premier League, regardless of his international background. But the one thing that is very true about Mourinho is that when it comes to defenders, he's a master. He turned Phil Jones and Rojo into very good players last year, and I'm sure he can do the same with Lindelof. But it might take a bit of time. Pogba's been off, says J Rock. Yeah. And Joe Stanley says that as well. He's looked a bit rough today, Pogba. But it's all about fitness, isn't it? I don't think United have started particularly well against a Salt Lake side that are up for it, but decent ball out by McTominay to Mkhitaryan, who again, thought Mkhitaryan played well on Saturday, but he's just lost the ball there. A good tackle there by McTominay, to be fair. Maybe he should go to the MLS as well. But no, it is interesting that Pogba played quite well and Mkhitaryan played quite well at the weekend, and not so well so far. But in a way, that's probably not a bad thing, that we get a good mix of performance through the tour. Elimini Nathan 79 says Lukaku doesn't fit our build-up play. This is abysmal, says Ned Breath. Mickey's been poor, says Darth Vader. Mickey is the missing man, says Patrick. Looks like 3-5-2 is the way to go, says Carlos. Pogba's giving the ball away again. He's very off at the moment, and now it's Real Salt Lake again. They'll be changing their team in 8 minutes. Oh, it's a lovely goal. 1-0. Lovely goal. In off Phil Jones. Totally deserved. Absolutely battering us, to be honest. Cut through us like a hot knife through butter. And that time Lingard gets shrugged off the ball too easy, and it's too and Jones. Yeah, Phil Jones has got to be stronger there, hasn't he? Let's see what you lot are saying. Yeah, Jones says Christoph. Our defence says Rick Tapio. And Phil Jones just looks like an amateur there. He's misread the ball and he's been bullied. Andrew Meacham says that as well. Jones out, says David Baratheon. Jones shoved off like a toothpick, says Marcus Gibbs. Yeah, so Phil Jones is getting the brunt of it. And Leo says, I'll wake up at 3 AM for this. I don't think Phil Jones would even be good enough for the MLS, J-Rock, but we're 1-0 down. I've got to update the score. United just had a shot from distance from Lukaku, but it's straight at goalkeeper. Straight at goalkeeper. The annoying thing is that I would rather be playing this Real Salt Lake team for the full 90 minutes so that we get a really good test. They're going to go off in a minute and then we'll come back into the game. They'll go off with a half an hour cameo where they've absolutely battered us. Niall Carroll says, wow, Pogba's been poor, which I think he has. And I think just looking at Mourinho there, obviously he's not going to be that fussed because it's only a second game, but it's not been a good 25 minutes at all. I think Fosu Menz has done quite well. And Lingard's done okay. And Lukaku is offside. Toulouse says, how is Phil Jones still in a United top? Fair point, fair point. I mean, the worrying thing is, I mean, I'm not going to judge players on, you know, second game of the pre-season when they've only been back in training for just over a week, but there's a real stark interest. Do you like my Game of Thrones little link in there? There's a stark difference between United and Real Salt Lake, and yeah, some of it comes down to fitness, but we should still be able to get our feet on the ball and tactically play our way back into this game. And at the moment, we're not able to do that. I mean, Daley Blin's first touch there is atrocious. I think everybody just looks a bit lazy. I don't think they were expecting such a challenge, to be honest. JDef says, and he's made a contribution, says, Mark's still not good enough, need more flair players. Thanks for that contribution, JDef. And I've been saying it for a long time. You know, our star player at the moment is Paul Pogba. We need to go out and sign somebody who is our star player in an attacking position. And I know I did the video on Neymar, and I don't for 1 minute think we'll sign Neymar, but even Ousmane Dembele from Dortmund, somebody like that, I think we need a flair player. In addition to the ones that we've got, I fully appreciate, you know, people like Rashford and Martial, but again, you look at this team and who's missing realistically that's going to consistently be a performer for United. Oh, Phil Jones. Just awful player. Bayern 1 makes the point. He says nothing's clicking out there. This shows Pogba needs, he needs some class around him, which is true. Utah John says, hopefully Brits stop talking so much about how trash the MLS is. It's not that bad and it's improved rapidly. I still think it's pretty trash, to be honest. I'm not being disrespectful, I'm being honest. Lovely goal for United there. Back to 1-1. Absolute cracking goal. Good build-up play. Probably just silenced the MLS lot. And at least we can, when they change the team, it's 1-1. Another cracker. Lovely little quick build-up play as well. Started with Fosu Mensah into Lingard. Gets it back. Lukaku into Lingard and then Mkhitaryan again. We're back in it, folks. We're back in it. And it's a lovely finish right on the edge of the box. And he connects well and it's beyond the keeper. And that is United back at 1-1. Just shows you their quality will shine through. Right, let's update the score, lads. Let's update the score. Two in two for Mkhitaryan. They call him the forgotten man. Fellaini hasn't scored, don't worry, I'm just going to rectify that. Yeah, but Mkhitaryan has been quite quiet, I agree. I'm just looking at the comments there, but I think he's got a massive season ahead of him. I don't think he had a particularly good year for United last year, and he needs a better one this year. But here we go. Real Salt Lake are about to change their whole team half an hour in. So I'm pleased that we got back into that and we didn't get beat. Because Real Salt Lake are about to change their whole side. And I think this is their best side. I think United has suddenly started to realise they need to throw a few tackles in, and it's not just a little exhibition game, which is good. Okay, so Real Salt Lake changed the whole team. Apparently they actually have got a game on Thursday. So does anybody know, any MLS experts, how good is this? Is this a total reserve team from Real Salt Lake coming off now? Was that the first team, or is there some first team players in this second team? Let us know. Good point by Ronaldo Sturkatch. He says this is the same as last season. The 4-3-3 formation just doesn't work at all. Change over 30 minutes, yep. Shubik says that Lingard's been world class. I wouldn't go that far. This is their second team. There's a couple of first teamers, says Jordan Brooks, but it's basically their second team. So what we're going to be playing in the second half, is that their third team then? Because they're changing again on 60 minutes. This is the reserves, apparently. Yeah, well, this Real Salt Lake. So basically, in many ways, we've probably played their best side, so we should be putting them away now. they've got a game in 2 days, says JA10. So yeah, to be fair to them, you know, at least they played their first team for a little bit. We're now playing Real Salt Lake's second team then, which means for the last half an hour we're going to be playing their third team, so we should absolutely annihilate them, really. Oh, Utah John says that Real Salt Lake have only got 20 players, so he doesn't know how they're going to get another team out, but maybe they just invited people off the street. Fellaini's going to score a hat-trick. Fosu Mendes played very well down the right. He'd be my man of the half. Chris Meredith says, any idea why Blinder's at left back and Fosu's at Blinder's at right back and Fosu's at left back? He isn't. Don't know what game you're watching, mate. But Blinder's definitely been left back all game, and so has Fosu Mendes has been right back. Lingard, Lukaku isn't injured for anybody who's reading the comments. Fredney says that United are about to make some substitutions. We'll see. Midfield is too slow, says Nats. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, Ross, this reserve Salt Lake are still getting in. One of them's just robbed Pogba and kept hold of the ball, so, you know. But no, I agree. I think this 4-3-3 formation just doesn't suit us. And that is one thing we don't want to do. We don't want to fall back into bad habits. It's almost like we go back to this 4-3-3 formation and everyone falls back into this groove of mundane football that we had towards the end of last season. I'd change the formation if I was Mourinho, because I don't think you can get the best out of players with this 4-3-3. It's exactly the same as last season. You know, a lot of backward passing, not enough movement, and you know, Lukaku's coming deep. That's exactly what we don't want to see, and it's exactly what I said at the start of the game. The thing I like about Lukaku is he plays on the last man, and he's always got that turn in him. We don't want to see him coming deep like Zlatan and Rooney did. Stay out of the way and push their defence back and create the space. Oh, it's overhit. Benjamin says we definitely need to get some strength and pace in the centre midfield. Well, that's what I mean. You can almost see if you put Matic into that midfield, what difference does it make? But you put someone like a Fabinho or someone with a bit of tenacity, or a Nainggolan. I'd love that to happen, which it won't. Then it suddenly makes a difference. I just think, I've said it, you know, with Rooney gone, Pogba is now our star player, and I just don't feel that Pogba on his own is as the superstar is the right thing. I think we need somebody else. I think Pogba needs somebody else with him in the team as the star player. We've got a lot of, you know, consistent performers who were very good players like your Herreras, but I think we just need another star in the team. Mkhitaryan, Lingard, Lukaku. Yes! First goal for Manchester United, Lukaku. I told you, didn't I? Again, Lukaku, Lingard putting Mkhitaryan away, and Lukaku scores his first goal for Manchester United. Get in. Took his time with it as well, had to round the keeper. Composure, didn't panic, didn't snatch at it. First touch was crap as usual. He nearly missed it because his first touch was absolutely diabolical again. It took it out of his feet, but he still managed to finish it. 2-1. He needs to work on that first touch. If he just controlled it nicely, it would have been in his stride, but he worked it out well. And he scores to make it 2-1 to United. Lovely stuff. But let's not forget we are playing their reserves now. I told you he'd score though. It's nice to have a few goals rumbling in. But, as I said with Lukaku, I fully accept, and we all fully accept, that it's a pre-season game, but it's important that he scores that first goal for United because it just gives him that little bit of confidence that he scored a goal for Manchester United. And it doesn't go down on the records, these pre-season game goals, but in his mind he scored a goal for United, and if he'd gone through the 3 or 4 pre-season games and he'd missed chances and he'd not score, it starts to prey on the mind. So next stage is to score a proper registered goal, when the Premier League starts, but he'll know in his mind now that he can do it, and he has scored goals. So good. Oh, Lukaku again. Dost 100 says that Lukaku's first touch was intentional. Look, mate, I like Lukaku. I think he's going to be a good player for United, and I'm not against him at all. But don't try and lie to people about things that you've got no idea about. His first touch, when that pass went through to him, he should have had it out of his foot so he could tap it in a way, and he doesn't. It moves in towards his right foot, which is why he has to cut round the goalkeeper. It's not a big deal. It wasn't a big deal. He still scored the goal, but don't try and lie to yourself by saying that his first touch was intentional there, because it wasn't. He had to do more work than he needed to do. But he'll work on it. I'm sure he'll sort it out. Strength again from Lukaku. He's in here, shoots just wide. You see, he's rocking now. He's confident, and that's what we want to see. It's quite well wide, actually. Farouk says, thoughts on playing Lukaku and Rashford up front together? It would need a formation change. You couldn't do it in this formation of a 4-3-3. But if we played that one we played at the weekend, I certainly think we should give it a try. We're very close to half time. I think in this game, Fosu Mensah and Lingard have been our best outfield players. They look like their fitness and touch is ahead of a lot of other players, which is fine. Like I said, we've only been back training for just over a week, and different players, hit their fitness levels at different times. I think Lingard looked quite sharp at the weekend as well. So he's obviously, he's ahead of everybody at the moment in relation to his form, but that's not an issue. Some players will take longer than others. That's what pre-season's all about. You've got 6 weeks before you play your first game. So my standout players for the first half would be Lingard and Fosu Mensah. I don't know whether anybody disagrees or agrees with that. Mkhitaryan's offside again, but there's been a definite drop in the quality in the last 10 minutes since Real Salt Lake took their first team off. This is their reserves, let's not forget, and we should be winning and scoring a few touches now. Mike Henonick says that Blind looked crap. Well, Blind didn't look fantastic in the first game either, but again, it's way too early to start judging players because it's all about fitness at the moment. I don't think Daley Blind will be playing much for United next season anyway, unless we play a back three. We could play Bailey, Lindelof and Blind. I'd say the worst player on the pitch is Phil Jones. That first goal was just shocking for a centre-back to get, not one, to lose the run of the striker, and then two, to get pushed off. Football Bear says Jones is his standout player for how bad he is. I don't know why he's a lot of people say let's sell Chris Smalling. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I'd keep him, but I understand why people would sell him. But I don't know why, when you talk about selling Chris Smalling, you don't start with Phil Jones. Get rid of the worst player first. Nearly half time. Nearly half time. Don't know why I said it twice. So good I said it twice. So, 2-1 up. Looks like we're going to be 2-1 up at half time. The players I was thinking about talking, I'll cover that in a minute. What I was going to say is that we've obviously got the second half coming up, so we won't be seeing any of these players in the second half. So, hopefully, in the second half, we're going to get to see Martial, Rashford. The one I'm really looking forward to seeing, Andreas Pereira. It's not a surprise to me that the technique and skills are all coming out from United in the last 5 minutes, because there's been a big drop off in the quality of the opposition, which should probably continue in the second half. But we are at half time, and I want to just bring in at that point that what was I saying at the start of the game? So at the start of the game, I said the players I was looking forward to looking at were Mkhitaryan and Pogba, to see if they could continue their form from the second half against LA Galaxy. Obviously McTominay, because he's a young lad, want to see how he does. Fezio Menza, because he's a player a lot of us like, and they were the sort of players that we were picking out. My two players from the half were Lingard and Fezio Menza. I think they look a lot sharper than everybody, especially on the ball. Lingard looks really good on the ball, but that doesn't mean he's the new Messi. For Manchester United, it doesn't mean anything. We're playing Real Salt Lake, who are probably the equivalent of playing somebody like a good League Two side. And it's all about where you are in your fitness. Lingard, I think, played okay against LA Galaxy as well, so I think he's further along than some other players. I still, it's not even worth saying. He still shouldn't be playing first team football for United. He should be a squad player, but I think he can contribute as a squad player. I think Fozzie Menz is going to be in the same category. I'd give him a loan this season, but he looks sharp as well. McTominay, I think he's just there to make up the numbers, because we haven't signed the players that Jose wants yet. Way too slow. In reality, he's way too slow to play for Manchester United, especially in the midfield. And I think that was not just something I'd level at him. Carrick as well. That midfield, that 4-3-3 we played in that first half, it was so reminiscent of last season, where that formation just seems to cause us problems. And I think we go back to it today, and the players seem to fall back into that trap of what the 4-3-3 is, which is not dynamic, not a very quick formation, and I don't want to see us playing it, but I fear that we probably will. But yeah, the midfield, Pogba had a pretty bad half up until Real Salt Lake changed their team. So Real Salt Lake started the game with their strongest team, and they changed it at half an hour, and then United came back into it. But yeah, the midfield three, way too slow. Phil Jones, why is he still at the club? awful player, and he'll always get injured as well. But I mean, he was totally at fault for the goal, shrugged off too easily, and didn't see the runner. But 2-1, Lukaku's first goal for United. Both goals worked, well worked goals to be fair. Lingard involved in both. Mkhitaryan's a decent finish from the edge of the box, and Lukaku, yeah, he got caught under his feet a little bit, but the most important thing is that Lukaku's put the ball in the back of the net for United, and that will give him good confidence to build on. So I was happy with that from a United point of view. Very happy that Lukaku's got his first goal. Obviously it doesn't count, it's not official goal because it's a pre-season game, but it will take confidence from that. I think for the first half an hour we did well to be 1-1. Salt Lake were much better than us, and you can put that down to fitness. You can put it down to many things, but I don't like the formation that 4-3-3. I think we need to be far more dynamic, and I think it reminded me of the team that we played in the first half against LA Galaxy. If the midfield hasn't got this tenacity and speed in it, it dictates the rest of the team. It makes, Daley Blind was getting a lot of stick, but to be honest, the ball he's getting is quite slow. That midfield three, I think in the second half, well, we're playing a worse team in the second half because obviously it's their reserves, but I think what we'll see in the second half, depending on what the midfield three is he plays, it could be Twansibi, Pereira, Herrera, it could be Herrera, Pereira, Mata, but whatever that midfield three is, I think we'll see a stark, another Game of Thrones mentioned there, we'll see a real difference in how they perform, because Pogba looks quite bad in that half, but Carrick and McTominay are just so slow and static. You come up against a team, it's only Real Salt Lake, but you come up against a team that's quick, and you get exposed, especially when you've got Phil Jones at the back. Lindelof again, look, it's early days with Lindelof. He's a centre back, and Mourinho works wonders with centre backs, and I'm sure he will end up being a good player for United, but he's not making a massive impact at the moment, but we'll just have to wait and see. It's too early to start talking about Lindelof anyway. He just needs to get the game time in a Manchester United shirt, but standout players definitely Lindelof and Fosu Mensah. Looking forward to the second half now. I hope that Pereira gets some game time, like I say, in a more advanced position. I don't really want to see him playing as a defensive midfielder again. If Herrera's going to come on, and I would imagine Herrera will be captain because he's the vice captain, which will be interesting. But it's all about getting game time, isn't it? And the fitness levels of Real Salt Lake were very evident in that first half an hour, and that's what United's all about. And let's be totally honest, the pre-seasons are great. They've got to be. We're getting up at silly o'clock in the UK to watch them. But I think once we've got this game out of the way, and we put the next three, we've got Man City, Real Madrid and Barcelona, and I'm sure everyone will start using the wider squad for 45 minutes again, and that's fine, and in a way it's quite exciting because we get to see a lot of different players. But at least on Friday morning when we're playing Manchester City, we know when they make their 11 subs, we know the quality of who the players are coming on. It's very hard. I know Real Salt Lake put their first team out in the first half an hour, but how good is their reserves? Probably not that good, but it's hard to gauge. Whereas I think from Friday, we've played 2 games, we've been back in training for 2 weeks, and we're playing against players that we know. We'll get a better gauge of ability and where we actually all are. Can Jesse Lingard play like that against Man City, or does he just revert to being the wet lettuce who gets knocked off the ball all the time? So it's hard to gauge everybody at the moment. I think it's a mixture of the opposition's not that good, and a lot of our players are just not sharp, which is totally, like I say, to be expected because that's what pre-season's all about. But Mkhitaryan's finish was good. Lukaku's goal is just all about the confidence, and that's good. And let's take some of your comments. Looking forward to seeing Rashford in the second half. I agree with Darth Vader. Thanks to everybody who's joined us. Actually, I know I've said it a few times now, but thanks everybody who's joined us on the watch along. I know the United Stand has got a fantastic global support, which never fails to amaze me. But I know it's if you're in the UK, Europe, it's the early hours of the morning, and if you're not, it's probably daytime, unless you're in America where it's the evening, and you've got school and work. So many people watching United all around the world. It's a unique experience and one I'm enjoying. I remember doing it a couple of years ago, but I don't think we were doing watch-alongs then. But I really am enjoying doing it at this time in the morning, and it just hammers home what a great support network we have with Manchester United. So thanks everybody. Drop a like I say, if you want, and if you're new, you've found a great community on the United Stand. So make sure you click that subscribe hologram in the bottom right hand corner and the bell to get notifications when we go live, because we are a live content channel. Somebody just asked what's the plan, Mark, because we normally do a 7 AM transfer show every morning and then we're live at 8:30. All a bit messed up at the moment because of the shows, because of the games. So we will be live tomorrow night. It will probably be 8 o'clock again. I've got Rodney on with me, 8 o'clock UK time. Transfer show probably won't do one tomorrow morning because I'm doing a match reaction after this, which will be about 5:30, so it seems silly to do another video at 7. So I may just do a lunchtime stream again off my mobile with the transfer news, so that'll work quite well. So if you want to get that notification whenever I go live off my phone, make sure you've clicked the bell which is next to the subscribe button, and then you'll get notified. Or follow us, or do both and follow us on Twitter, which is at United Stand MUFC, where we always post the live links anyway. So second half's to come. Ramsey United says it's 3 hours until work. Yeah, geez, I never realised that. 4 o'clock in the morning it is here in the UK, and I'll be on the 7 o'clock train as well. So no more sleep for me till tonight. In fact, I'll do... it's depressing to think I'll be doing the 8 o'clock stream tonight before I do before I have another sleep. Oh well, it's not a one-off because we've got to do it on Friday. The Man City game will be good fun actually, but you know, the tours don't come around that often, do they? And it's a nice experience to do it, and yeah, enjoying it and looking forward to the second half. Looking forward to the second half. Let's just have a quick look what people are saying. It's 12 AM in Argentina. I'll tell you what, we don't get many people from Argentina normally, which is good. I just saw, there it is. Okay, so Jason Garbutt's made a contribution. He says we should be trying Fosu Mensah out at CDM in these games. I think that will be his best position, but Jose doesn't seem to trust him. Yeah, we've spoken about that quite a lot, haven't we? I agree with everybody. I must say I agree that Fosu Mensah is potentially a cracking centre defensive midfielder. He reminds me of people like Michael Essien. But it's funny because Mourinho managed Essien, and he's a very, very clear that he doesn't see Fosu Mensah as a centre defensive midfielder. He sees him as a right back, and that's where he plays him. But yeah, I agree. I think he could be a really good centre defensive midfielder, but he's a long way off that. What I've been thinking about it because I think hopefully we'll see it in the second half. Another good performance from Andreas Pereira. I think Pereira needs to be involved with the United's first team this season. I think Fosu Mensah should have gone on loan last year, but I'm at that point with Fosu Mensah now where I think he should go on loan. I don't know what you think, but I think he should go on loan. And I think he needs to go on loan to somebody like Bournemouth or somebody like that, where he's playing first team football. I don't think he's going to get much first team football at United next season. I think if you balance the fact that a few minutes here and there at the end of the games over a season, or 30 odd games for a Premier League club, that's what Fosu Mensah needs. And you never know, if he went on loan to someone like Bournemouth, they might play him as a centre defensive midfielder. But I think Fosu Mensah needs to go on loan because he's clearly not going to get first team football if he's going to be Valencia's understudy. Steve Shalhorn has made a contribution to this. What's your favourite sponsor logo on a United kit? Sharp. It's got to be Sharp. I grew up with United with Sharp on it, so yeah. I think, to be honest, Chevrolet is probably the least with most people, but get commenting and give us your thoughts on that. Reco M8 says he needs to be put on loan in a Barclays Premier League team, which I would agree with. And whoa, I've lost you for a moment. I'm back. Oh, such a perfect day. You just keep me hanging on. Sorry, I'm not tired. It's just a bit weird. AIG was the best ever, says Alex Buzzy. It's got to be Sharp. I suppose it's all about the different times, isn't it? A lot of people saying AIG. That would have been 2008, wouldn't it? Nick Andrews says there's a Rashford hat-trick inbound. Second half's about to kick off. Darmian, I'm just trying to have a look at the team. Pereira's on there. Yes, that's what we want to see. He does the little prayer thing into the sky. Each to their own. Romero in goal, so no De Gea today. I hope people aren't making a big deal of that. And I hope it isn't a big deal as well. So Fellaini's, I forgot about Fellaini. I always forget about Fellaini. So we've got Fellaini, Herrera. I think Pereira's playing as a CDM again. Martial's playing out on the left wing. Mata will obviously play to the right. So we've got Rashford, Mata, Martial as a front three. Fellaini, Pereira and Herrera as the midfield three. Smalling and Bailly. And then Valencia as a right back and Darmian as a left back. So no place for Twansibi. But I'm very happy to see Pereira playing, but I'm not happy that we keep playing him as a midfielder, as a centre defensive midfielder, when he was playing as an attacker for Granada. But it's the third time in a row that Mourinho's used him as a CDM. Well, we'll see. Mourinho knows best. Mourinho knows best. Carter Wayne says it's 10 PM in Chicago and he's feeling sleepy. I presume he's actually joking because we're all up in the early hours over in Europe. Kurt's giving it some Pereira love. I love Pereira. I think he's a fantastic player. Amar makes a good point as well. Take into account the altitude change that the players are not used to due to Utah's geography, which is a good point, and Mourinho spoke about it at the start of the game. Ever visited the States, Mark? Says Freddie Smith. No, I haven't. I'd love to. I'm sure I will do as well. Well, hopefully I will do. You can never be sure about anything in life, but right, let's have a look. Fellaini, look at him. He's like Messi here. He's running with the ball and gets tackled. Well, Lingard had a good first half, so Fellaini will probably have a good second half. Jones was rubbish in the first half. Precious Arantz, I agree. Mark Robinson says, "Where's the Bud Light?" Not at 4:10 in the morning. Yannick says Manchester United fans are the best. I think we prove that every single day. Pereira Harris is playing as a centre defensive midfielder. Valencia looks visibly slower, says generic name 1. Martial's been foot poor, says Vincent O'Hara. He's only been playing for 3 minutes. And Benjamin says Fellaini will be player of the year, mark my words. Mr. N30NZZ says, I feel sorry for Dimitri Mitchell not getting any game time. He might, yeah, I'm sure he will. I think he will. I think, Twan Seaby's not playing either, so I think Twan Seaby will definitely get 20 minutes, and it'd be, he probably should give Mitchell 20 minutes as well. But I really do feel that McTominay and Mitchell are only here just to make up the numbers because we haven't signed the 2 players that Mourinho wanted. And Harry Ballbag says the players don't fit this stupid formation, which I sort of agree with. I don't like this formation, and Mark Robinson says it's not working as well. What's the starting lineup now, Mark? Says Hamza Love. So we've got Romero in goal. De Gea's not playing today, so we've got, because we had Pereira in the first half. We've got Romero in goal. Valencia's currently at right back. Smalling and Bailly the centre backs. Darmian left back. We've got Pereira as the CDM. Herrera and Fellaini as the midfielders. You've got Rashford up front, Mata on the right, and Lukaku. Martial's out on the left. But I think United have really struggled so far in relation to the formation. It's just it makes us look so clueless, and he's got to stop it. We just look so defunct of idea, and effectively you end up with your own half packed with players, and then when we try to attack, we've just hardly got anybody up front. Whereas I think that 3-5-2 at the weekend, although it was only one game, we just seem to have a hell of a lot more options up front. Have we got a Has anyone got the captain's armband? Because it's well, Herrera's clearly not the vice captain because he's not wearing the armband. So I can't see anyone who's got it unless it's. Didn't look like Valencia had it either. Ajuku Big says this second half team is slow. I'm well on my way to becoming sleep deprived, says Brad Gamester, but all worth it for the United stand. And Manchester United, says Brad. Yeah, I feel amazingly, I feel actually quite good. I felt quite good since I woke up, but there's a long way to go in this day yet because I won't be going back to sleep. Chris says, what the hell is Pereira doing in a centre defensive midfield position? Again, there's the similarities with Fosu Mensah, isn't it? You know, Fosu Mensah is a centre defensive midfielder, I think, but he gets played at right back, and Pereira is a midfielder or an attacking midfielder, and he's playing as a centre defensive midfielder. He's never going to. I don't think he's ever going to have the physicality to play that role, and it's a waste for him to play that role. Crossing, Fellaini's pushing forward a little bit. So let's have a read of that. Mourinho said there will be no vice captain, says Jacques on Walker. Gary Wells says there's no vice captain this season. Well, that's odd considering that Carrick won't play every game. I think Mourinho just doesn't really have much of respect for the captain, which I disagree with him on. The captain's very important. I've grown up with people like Roy Keane and Beckham for the national team, and the captain of the team is very important. But Mourinho seems to think it's not important. I hope he's proved right, but I disagree. I mean, look at some of the people he gave the captaincy to last season in important games. You know, we had Fellaini as captain. You got Valencia as captain who can't even speak English. And Mourinho just seems to not care about it, which is really weird because then at his other clubs, the captain's been very important. When you know, John Terry being the prime example. So Michael Carrick as Manchester United captain, he's clearly, well, I hope he's not going to play many games because I love Carrick, but he's too slow and he's on the decline. And for me, he's just there as the club captain, so to speak. He's not there to be playing games, but I think that's why a vice captain would have been really important. But Mourinho clearly doesn't care about it. Stephen says no one is captain. I've just seen it on his arm. Valencia is captain. Matt Villiot says this team isn't good enough to win anything this year. Mirror Cal says Arsenal's better than United. Well, clearly they're not, Mirror, because we're in the Champions League and you're in the Europa League. So I think sit down with your L. Al Doctor 69 says Valencia knows English well. No, he doesn't. And Pereira has got the potential to be the next Ronaldo. I think there's a bit of a myth about this. Valencia is not good at speaking English at all, and some people seem to think that he is, and he isn't. Martial got through there. I think it's a corner ball, good block. Herrera should be captain, says Jason Bourne 89. And Sumendu says the sound's a bit low. Turn it up. It's the best way to solve it if it's a bit quiet. Nath says, why is Pereira playing behind Fellaini? It's 2-1. Don't know why someone thinks it's 1-1. It's 2-1. Mata's injured. I think he might be coming off yet. Luke Escobar says is that Pereira playing behind Fellaini is not the real question. The real question is, why is Fellaini playing at all? Mitchell's coming on now, so that person who felt sorry for him in the live comments should not feel sorry for him now. It's very scrappy, this game. Eric Roberts says, I think we need 3 new players in the team, which I would agree. The match is dull, says Cian. And feels like I'm watching LVG football, says Omar. And DJ Dan Adams says, I've saved a bottle of VK for this. Thank God I work amazing hours. And we should really be turning up better against Salt Lake. Disappointing. Jack Porter says this team needs more signings out wide and in CDM. I think we need 3 signings. I really do, and I don't. You know, I wasn't fooled by the LA Galaxy game, and I'm certainly not fooled by this performance. It's I think the formation's been the big problem with us in this. But that's nothing new. Formation last season was pretty much like this. The inability to move the ball around is at times very frustrating. Timo says, when are you going to eat the crunchy? It wasn't me who had the crunchy in the whisper. It was one of the viewers. I wish I did. So Mitchell's gone out to play on the right, even though we've seen him playing as a left back. He's actually playing out on the right now, where Mata was. Fellaini loses the ball. So Salt Lake should be changing their entire team. They did do, didn't they? So God knows what this team is. Is it their first team back on, or is it? I don't know. But I think the person who mentioned the altitude might be onto something, because United, there's too many pretty poor performances tonight, and you just wonder if that's the altitude and the fitness level is just not quite up for it. Although some people seem to have adapted to it quite well, but in the main, most of the team haven't. Benjamin says Mitchell's already looking good. Do you know why Mitchell already looks good, even though he's hardly touched the ball? Because of his speed and how he moves around the ground, and it stands out so very. Stands out like a sore thumb, to be honest, because everything else has been so lethargic. Alan Major Ebanks says this team needs at least 3 signings, and I want Perisic to be one of them. I rate him. We need a quality winger and also a CDM. Yeah, I'd be happy to get Perisic. Nice link-up play between Darmian and Martial, and he should keep that in. No, he didn't. It's quite a good build-up play, though. Mr. Savage says, the United stand, do Manchester United have a good team or not? Well, it's a tough question to answer because I don't want to be negative, but I think this is, the formation just doesn't inspire. It's hard to say the formation doesn't work because it won us the Europa League, but it's not a very interesting formation, and it just always looks redundant when it comes in relation to creating chances. Alex is off to bed. People are quitting. They're throwing in the white towel. Afan makes a good point as well. The team's only had 48 hours between the last game, and then it's obviously at a high altitude as well. Yeah, but most of the team only played 45 minutes 2 days ago. It's all about fitness levels, though. I agree. Pereira is so good with the ball, that's why he's playing CDM. Fellaini wouldn't distribute the ball well. That's from Fredney. Would you prefer Pereira playing off the left or as a centre attacking midfielder? Would you prefer Pereira playing off the left? Oh, you've just repeated that self twice, Naths. I'd like to see Pereira play a more advanced position just to see if he can replicate the form he had for Granada, but like I say, every minute Mourinho's given him so far, it's always as a CDM. Cobros Aikins says I would keep Smalling and sell Jones. Well, I'd agree with that. Marcus Rashford says we're not going to challenge this year. Valencia cross, Herrera, and cleared. Angel Ibarra says, how do you think we're going to finish with the current team? Well, this current 11 we've got out at the moment, I think we'd struggle to beat Huddersfield, but it's early day. I mean, it's very easy to, I did say before the LA Galaxy game, and it's important to repeat it, it's very easy to get lost in pre-season tour games and start saying we're not going to win this or we're going to win this. I've seen us batter teams and then start the season badly, having had a good pre-season. It ultimately is just an opportunity for players and a real opportunity for Mourinho to get the squad fit. It's how we play and what the score against West Ham is that really matters, and then every other Premier League game after that. But what I would say is that the formation we're playing at the moment is just uninspiring, and we do need to make a couple of signings. And I would repeat what I've been saying a few times over the last few days. Martial, get it out your feet. Oof, thought he was going to score. He's done well. He's lost it. What I've been saying for the last few days, I would repeat. If we think we're going to be playing Carrick, Lingard, Fellaini a lot next season, then we may as well just accept we're going to be battling for fourth again, because I love Carrick, but he's so on the decline now, and Lingard and Fellaini wouldn't get him any team in the top 8, and we need better players than that. I still think we're going to make signings, but I just don't know who they are. Valencia is doing his best to get a yellow card, I think, in this. Tom Boone says, I do trust Mourinho, but some of the decisions are strange. Fosu Mensah right back, Pereira CDM, constant use of Fellaini, no De Gea in Europa League final. There are so many examples of these strange decisions. And Patrick says that Fellaini is ridiculously bad. Yeah, he's not played that well so far, to be honest. And Aish is annoyed that Pereira is being wasted as a CDM. And Andre Reed says the first game and this game is short of... Oh, he sent Valencia off. It's a bit of a delayed reaction, wasn't it? A bit weird. He sort of had a chat with him. It's not a red card. Well, to be honest with you, the red card means next to nothing to United, and actually we're playing their reserves, and we'll probably get quite a lot out of this now, because we'll have to work harder. So, but a red in a friendly is always a funny thing. Oh, apparently he's broke the guy's ankle. Well, you know, it still doesn't make it a red card. I don't feel that was a red card tackle at all. In the Premier League, that wouldn't be a red card. A few more subs for Salt Lake. It was bad refereeing anyway. He had a chat with him and then he seems to send him off 5 minutes later. Really weird. We look worse than last year, says JB. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think it really starts against City on Friday, when we can really gauge who the opposition is and how good we are against the opposition. Pereira there trying to get it stuck in. So I really like Pereira. I think his body movement's great. I think his ability on the ball's really good, but he's not. I just don't think he's a centre defensive midfielder, because he just doesn't strike me as the sort of person who's got the physicality for it. Gazamania says he's missed most of the game. Have we been bad? Chuck your comments in then. Chuck your comments in and tell Gazamania what your thoughts are. I think it's been a struggle for United tonight, and maybe that's a culmination of the altitude, the lack of fitness, the fact that we played 2 days ago. But what I would say is already the squad feels like it's lacking something, and that's weird because we've got Lukaku and Lindelof, and Lukaku scored tonight, which is great, but it just does feel like the squad is missing something. And I think we need to get these signings done sooner rather than later, but I just don't know. Don't know whether they are going to happen sooner rather than later. Sion, I agree with you. The ref seemed to wait for ages to send him off. We've been bad, says Patrick. Poor game, says Astro. What do you think of Herrera, says Colin Kennedy. He's been off. Some of our better players have been off tonight. Herrera, Pogba in the first half. But it's a training game, so yeah, there we go. Lynn Hall says sluggish performance and we're lacking pace. Uprising says, what formation do you think we should play? I'd like to try the 3-5-2 again. Roma Dude says, Mark, with some of the strange decisions Mourinho makes, he's trying to alienate the fans. Pereira needs to play as a CAM. It's pissing me off watching this as Frank plays. About time for Rooney to come on, says Hayden Roberts. Rashford's getting no service, says Mark Robinson, which is, again, I think that's a really, really good point. And you could level that at Martial as well. Rashford and Martial. Oh, Fellaini should have scored there. It was a good cross by Rashford. He totally bloody misses it. He should at least get his head on it. Oh God, he does. He does get his head on it. It's just rubbish. Breach 69 says he's not getting up to watch this crap again. I was going to mention that. I think you all deserve a pat on the back for getting up. I would get up anyway because I want to watch Manchester United, but it's not like, I think if we were playing, I'm trying to think of, I don't know, New York Red Bulls on Friday, I'd understand why people might think I'll give that one a skip, but we're playing Man City on Friday, we're playing Real Madrid on Sunday, and then we're playing Barcelona on the other game, so we've got 3 good oppositions to play, so I'll definitely be getting up anyway, but I would recommend that you do as well, because I think the City game will be a very interesting gauge of where we are, not only for fitness but based on but ability as well, because it's been a really lackluster performance from United tonight, and this is the season where Mourinho always wins the league. He always wins the league in the first 2 years, and this is his 2nd year, so this is the season where he needs to win the league. And I still look at the squad and I still think it's full of a lot of dead wood. People like Darmian, not good enough. Fellaini obviously is not good enough. But ultimately, Rashford and Martial are playing with the ball with their backs to the ball, backs to goal too much. It's just not. It's just not a good formation at all. Christopher Vaz says Casemiro can fix that problem. He can't fix any problem. He's a Real Madrid player. We're not signing Real Madrid players, clearly. Cheeseburger Stabbing says Pereira, Pogba, Herrera, Mata are our only competent midfielders. Whoever we bring in needs to be quality. Mark, do you think Sanchez will be a City player, and if not, why are we not in for him? I don't think we can get Alexis Sanchez, but I think City can. I think he wants to go and play with Pep again, if I'm honest. So this has been a really boring half so far. No real chances for either side. The worrying thing is how bad are Real Salt Lake. This is not their first team. I must add that this is not their first team. It is their. It might even be their reserves of their reserves, but. 15 minutes to go. I thought Lingard played well in the first half, and I think Fosu Mensah played well, and other than that, offense has been pretty disappointing. Oh, Fellaini's won a flick on. Oh, it's dire, isn't it? I mean, really, really bad. Really bad as a spectacle. The football has just been poor. To not create any chances against a string of reserves in the MLS is pretty poor, and nobody has done well. Although that's good from Martial. It's good work. Oh, thought he'd put Rashford in there. Martial worked well there. Pereira with a good cross. Oh, Smalling. He's got to score that. Cracking cross by Pereira. And Smalling is good in the air normally, but he puts it over from about 2 yards out. It's a cracking. He's got such a good cross on him, Pereira. Oh, he's got to bury that. Absolute sitter. Absolute sitter. Oh dear me, let's have a look what people are saying on the comments. Surely Smalling should have scored, says Eric Marsh. I do agree with that. Kyle says it's a very good cross, and Anaban says Pereira crosses the ball excellently. He really does. And Kieran says he's had craps more entertaining than this. And I would honestly lose faith in Jose if he let Marshall go, says Richie. I mean, surely that wouldn't happen. Surely that wouldn't happen. Vladimir says if Pereira doesn't get minutes this season, he'll be furious. I think Pereira needs to go on loan if he's not going to get game time. There's no point in going on loan to Granada and doing what he did and then coming back and sitting on our bench. He either needs to play or he needs to go on loan. Summit's waiting to go to the office, but he's delaying it so he can watch the end of the United game. He's in India because it's 8:45 there. What's a better... The rapping Irishman says Jose will be sacked by Christmas. Yeah, United won't sack Mourinho even if we're in the bottom half at Christmas. We won't be sacking him. No attack in the midfield, says Eric Marsh. Spot on. There's nothing in the midfield. I don't understand why our most creative player is playing as a CDM and then our most defensive player is Fellaini and Herrera, who've played that role, are playing as the attacking midfielders. Really, really odd. But I think the formation's just boring anyway. Pereira looks like the only one with any energy because he's obviously trying to impress. Lewis Hanley says, is the City game Friday morning or Saturday morning? It's the early hours of Friday morning. And we're playing Real Madrid on Sunday night. But it's disappointing that we haven't had any goals or really any opportunities to score any goals in this game so far. Cricket's about bloody right. Cricket is more entertaining than this. Nine minutes to go, folks. We're nearly there. I mean, Mitchell's looks good since he's come on, I must admit. But really, truth be told, we should be doing a hell of a lot better against a team that is reserves for Real Salt Lake. 7 minutes to go. Oh, Fellaini. Oh, for God's sake. That just encapsulates United's half there. Martial, Rashford making their runs. Fellaini's on the ball. Doesn't release it. They have to stop and only overhits a pass. David says Rodney was right to get some Zeds and not watch this. I know. The horrible thing is we're all going to be tired tomorrow thinking we got up early to watch this. But I feel sorry for Martial and Rashford because yet again the service is just awful. Schubeck says hopefully Mourinho changes his mind about transfers after this performance. And Martial, go on. Oh God, he got into a good position, then shoots over. Nihal Muller says players are having jet lag from the Van Gaal era. Mod Sad says, is there any positive pointers from this game? Not there's not a lot other than it's fitness in the legs of the players. I think the Man City game is going to be very important because we're going to really understand how good we are. Free kick here for Pereira. But there's not been any performance that would make you sit up and go, oh, that's been fantastic. I mean, Lingard played well in the first half, but we know what Lingard's all about, and realistically, he probably shouldn't be in the United team. Fosu Mensah played quite well, but we know that Mourinho's never going to play him. So there's not. I mean, Lukaku's first goal was Lukaku putting the ball in the back of the net for United is a positive because it gives him some confidence, but I think there's been more negatives than positives. And what's Fellaini doing there? Just hit and hope cross when there's nobody in the bloody box. He's been shocking this half. Absolutely shocking. Vincent's obviously not a Martial fan. He says he's the worst he's seen in a United shirt. I think Vincent's a bit of a troll. It's about the third comment tonight I've read and I've thought, what are you on about? Because Martial's actually played okay this half in a half that's been pretty dull. He's done okay. Gazamania says we need to do more transfer business before the City game. It's only 3 days, mate. I can't see us doing it. And it's not Fellaini's day today, Water Warrior. No, it isn't. He played all right against LA Galaxy, but I think LA Galaxy were a big step down from this opposition tonight. I mean, Rashford's been very, very quiet as well. Ahmed says, what do you make of this performance? But then the comment above from Tony Chen sums it up. They do look tired. Right, spread the play. Darmian's moved to right back. Of course, we've got 10 men as well. We've put a lot of good crosses into the box tonight, though, and Fellaini, that's what you're there for. Don't play Fellaini again, says Rish on Rush. Morning lads, says Abdul Malik. Transfers won't fix this. Twansibi's coming on for 2 minutes. What's the point? What's the bloody point? I don't think you can judge Rashford or Martial too much on this because the support behind has been atrocious. Fellaini has been awful, and as the most advanced midfielder, that sort of ruins Rashford's game, really. Reminds me, let me just create this event. I think Pereira has looked active, and I think much like Mitchell when he came on, there just seems to be an extra spring in his step. But when you're playing a team of this quality and they're not that good, I think we should be doing a little bit better. Salt Lake nearly actually scored themselves there. Such a perfect day. Well, we're going to win. Take the positives. So Twansibi's come on for what will probably be no time at all. Corner for Real Salt Lake, and I think that'll be about it. I think there's an injury to Darmian. The ref may as well just blow up. Contribution from Riak. He says maybe Mourinho told the players to go easy so he can school Pep. Yeah, could get embarrassing. Could be embarrassing against City if we play like this. But I'm sure. Yeah, I think that's the game that we need to be interested in. Just to let people know, this stream will end more or less instantaneously when the game ends. But I do have a stream set up for the match reaction. So if you just click the United stand, and it's called United 2, Real Salt Lake 1. Mkhitaryan and Lukaku goals win it. So I'll do my match reaction, my player ratings on there, and click the United stand and go over to there. So I'll end this in a minute and then we'll go and do it over there. Thanks to everyone who's joined us for the watch along. Really enjoyed it, and I've really enjoyed the banter in the chat. We were live from an hour before kickoff, and we'll do it again on Friday for the Man City game. But pop over and I'll do I'll do my. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to give a few home truths on the match reaction, because I think, you know, it is the US tour and it is only our second game, but it's not really about individual performance. Well, I'll tell you what I think in the match reaction. I've got a few issues that I think probably more come down to Mourinho that concern me, that I want to discuss. So we'll pop over and we'll do that. So join us over on the match reaction, and I will be there with you in about 60 seconds. So give me about 60 seconds. I'm going to close this stream, go over onto my match reaction and give it there. Just go to the homepage and you'll see it. We should see it anyway. I'll see you in about 60 seconds. Thanks.